Christ. There we go. All right. Now, I always call picking shows the worst thing I make. This is the worst fucking thing I make. This is, what the fuck is this called? Chatting about 2018 anime and talking about my top 10 of 2018. I don't even know why the fuck I'm making this. We're going to go ahead and, I already warned everyone on Discord what the fuck this bullshit is, so if no one shows up, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going for it anyway. Besides, I have too much of a fucking headache to actually do, like, Final Fantasy IX or whatever. At everyone... what the fuck did I call this? Chatting about 2018. That's not how you spell 2018. 2018 anime and talking about my favorites of that year. This is really similar to another show I wanted to do. Where I just talk about fucking shonen anime, but I never ended up making that. Maybe if this goes well, I will, but it probably won't. So I probably won't. I guess if you're watching this on YouTube, you have the advantage of being able to skip to whatever fucking thing you want. But yeah. All right. So I'm basically just gonna go through everything I watched in 2018 and just gonna talk about it. But I'm gonna save the honorable mentions, which I should probably know what the fuck the honorable mentions are. Okay. And the actual favorites for the end. And yeah, on YouTube this will have timestamp, but that wouldn't be possible for stream. Alright. So, we might as well go in alphabetical order. Let's see. 3D Kanjo Real Doll. Why am I doing this? 3D Kanjo Real Doll. Yeah, so this was a cute little anime. The main character was a bit obnoxious towards the beginning, you know, he like the girl's like this like popular girl, and he was like super judgmental towards her at the start of this, and like it kind of made him come off as like a huge asshole, but I have to after like episode 2 or 3, you know, once they like get into a relationship real quick, which is something I always appreciate. Is because so much romance anime is about two characters falling in love. I always appreciate when it's just like, yo, you want to date? And the other person's like, yeah. And then the rest of it's like they're dating and like the issues about that. And like Real Girl's exactly like that. They just kind of get into it and then they have to deal with those issues. And in Real Girl, I think I talked about this in what I watched this week. They both have issues. Like, he's like insanely jealous, and she's jealous to an extent too, you know. But she also is like, she's a little more like laissez-faire, and he has no fucking self-esteem whatsoever. So that just adds to the issues. It's yo shit. Welcome, maid. I didn't actually expect anyone to show up to this. Aside from Devilman Crybaby, which you hated, you didn't watch any new anime in 2018? That's okay. I watched... Scrolling down. Over 8... Oh, Jesus Christ. We're gonna... Over 80. Wow. Fuck was I thinking? We're gonna be talking about Devilman Crybaby, too. Of which I'm sure you have plenty to say. Because I know you hated that. But yeah, overall, you getting burnt out on games, so time to start prioritizing anime again. Yeah, I get that. I go like off and on that too. Like I watch a bunch of anime and then I play a bunch of games and you know stuff like that. The only reason I continuously watch anime every week is I have that show where I have to talk about anime every week, which I need to film at once I'm done with this nonsense. But, yeah, overall, I say Real Girl was probably my favorite romance of 2018, but 2018 was a really, really bad year for romances. I think the only other, like, 2 noteworthy ones was Love is Hard for Otaku, which, oh boy, do I have things to say about Love is Hard for Otaku. Tell you what, Woohoo Brokeback, also welcome. If I get through this with some expediency... We'll see about doing a little bit of Final Fantasy IX afterward. which I was going to put in the like description of what I was planning to do tonight, but I felt like if I did that, that's like I'm promising to do Final Fantasy IX, and I don't want to promise that. I'm just saying I might do it. Resident Evil stresses you out? Is it like the horror vibes? So, anyway, and oh yeah, and Bloom Into You was the other romance of the year, and that five shit to say about Bloom Into You too. Let's see, skipping that one, going on to Aggressive Retsuko, Wish You a Metal Christmas. Oh shit. Can't ruin RE because Capcom already ruined it. I don't know. I'm new to the Resident Evil franchise, so I will withhold judgment. Okay, the Agretzko Metal Christmas special is it's actually listed as like a spin-off of Agretzko, but it's actually a direct sequel. No. It was listed. Now they have it listed as a sequel. Yeah, it's actually a direct sequel of Agretzko. And I don't really want to spoil what you learn about it, but overall, it's kind of, like, relatively tame as far as, like, it doesn't represent the best of the series. You didn't watch much anime last year? You really like anime? You know what? It's not... I've heard people say 2018 is like the best year for anime. I disagree. I think it's the worst year for anime I think I've ever encountered. So yeah, Agretzko Metal Christmas, not bad. It's only, how long was this? It was only 24 minutes, so I can't really talk about Agretzko too much without spoiling the actual thing, and it's not time to talk about Agretzko yet. Okay. Yeah, Ancient Magus Bride started in fall of 2017, but we're going to talk about the 2017 fall series too, because the original... I'm doing this so I don't have to make a fucking video, basically, and the rules for the original video allowed fall anime that continued into 2018. So I'll be talking about Magus Bride during this also. Spoiling the shit out of it. I'm gonna spoil the shit out of everything. Spoilers allowed. Pew! Spoiler done. Okay, Agu Tensei Ningyo is... as I've explained before, this is a fucking weird-ass series. Basically, geniuses are blessed by gods throughout the course of human history, and they basically have the powers of gods, like, powering them. And what happens is that there's this corporation of, like, horrible monster people that kidnap geniuses, and they turn them into tiny little dolls, and they, like, shrink them, and they sew them into their own bodies to, like, gain their talents. And... You're gonna mute that? That's cool. I didn't expect anyone to show up for this nonsense. And the like main character's like best friend has like 3 ballerina like geniuses sewed into her. They're called Agu, and they're like friends. And at the end, like the main character ends up like kind of trying to destroy her friend's Agu by joining like this old like Chinese man and his grandpa. I don't want to get too much into it. I actually enjoyed Agu. This shit was crazy. There were so many plot twists in it. There were so many plot twists that at points this fucking show does not make sense. Like, I've heard people say that everything is a plot hole in the show. There are, first off, people who think there's a plot, like every single like thing in Agu is a plot hole, and I've seen people be like, everything was a plot hole. There are character plot holes, which doesn't fucking make sense. There's no such thing as a character plot hole. But, yeah, there aren't that many plot holes, but there's, like, 3 major plot holes that you can't really explain without, like, really trying to. And so, also the animation sucks in this one. And so, if you wanted to, like watch like a fun show with a lot of like dumb plot twists and you don't care too much about like consistency, Agu was pretty fun. You learned last night that Meteor Blasters is still a thing. Is that a Meteor Blasters? That's a like a studio? Anyway, yeah, Agu, not bad. Would be worth a watch actually, if I'm being honest. If you don't care about animation or plot holes and you just want to watch like a crazy soap opera-esque, it's like Danganronpa. It's like Danganronpa, basically, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is Agu is Danganronpa. Oh, nope, not that one. Okay. Okay, what is this? Akanto Kanjo. They still dub hentai? That's great. Okay, My Sweet Tyrant, yeah, alright, so, here's the basic plot, alright? The girl's really sweet. She has a tsundere boyfriend, and, you find out her dad is also a tsundere to, like, her mom, but they're not, and here's the thing about tsunderes. It's a very fine line that you have to walk with tsunderes, because it's a fine line between, like, charmingly dishonest and being a total fucking bitch, or in this case, being a total asshole. And this show does not walk that fine line, and I can't fucking stand him just as much as I can't stand any tsundere that goes too far in one fucking direction, and he absolutely does. And he's fucking unlikable, and she deserves way better, which is exactly why I'm talking about, like, romance anime specifically in fucking 2018 was garbage, and this is just a perfect example of the fucking garbage that was 2018 romance anime. It says 25 episodes. I think these are, like, yeah, these are 3-minute episodes. Hentai dubs are gems. I'm the biggest, baddest motherfucker that you'll ever see. That's a pretty great thing to put into anything. That's a pretty good line. Anima Yell. Alright, Anima Yell. Anima Yell is about a girl that becomes obsessed with cheerleading when she sees this other no tsundere can live up to Taiga. Yeah, Taiga's pretty great. I like Shauna, Taiga, and Haruhi. Are probably like 3 of the left out baldest. Did I? Baddest, I'm sorry. I'm the biggest, baddest, baldest motherfucker you'll ever see. Is that better? Yeah, so this girl sees this girl cheerleading at one time, and then she tries to form a cheerleading club and just fails for most of it. So they end up just becoming like a group of cheerleaders that cheer for literally anything, basically. It's cute. It's fun. There's not too much to talk about. There is a really cool episode. I talked about this in Wadawa, where like one of the characters like reveals that she's gay, and not one of these characters, but a different character, like reveals she's gay, and I really appreciated how they presented it, because especially in Japan with that has like a lot of homophobia, the characters like paused for a minute because she was like asking like how to like seduce this like older student, and all of the girls were like, well, here's what we could do with him. And then they just like pause for a second, and then like the girl's like clearly uncomfortable that she like revealed that about her, and she's like about to get up, and then the girls like stop her, and they're like, okay, we may need to change our approach. Let's seduce the crap out of this girl. And then she has like this look on her face like, oh, they accept me. And it's such a cute, sweet, and real moment that I wasn't expecting for a fucking cute girls do cute things about fucking cheerleading. Said guy beats up the other guy with anal beads. It's great. That's not what I thought was going to be happening in that scene, but that is hilarious. What is that hentai you were talking about? Yeah, so that's fucking Anima Yell. Alright, next up on the list is Baki. This is season 3. Of course, in order to watch season 3, I watched the other 2 seasons before. I mostly watch this fucking Baki show because of like a Super Eye Patch Wolf video. I know I usually don't mention other people's names in these kinds of things, but fuck it, we're name dropping now. Super Eye Patch Wolf made a whole video about Baki, and it sounded like JoJo crossed with Street Fighter, and that's what Baki is JoJo crossed with Street Fighter, except it makes less sense. Baki makes no fucking sense. The main character literally powers up like he's incapable of defeating any of the convicts, and this season a bunch of convicts break out of jail just to fight him. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they don't want to fight his fucking dad instead. I mean, his dad's been around forever, and everyone thinks his dad's fucking invincible, so if they want to get their asses kicked so hard, just go find his dad. But no, they want to fight him, because I guess even they're scared of his dad? I don't know. But yeah, he can't beat any of them. All of the others are beaten by some other guy. And then his girlfriend has sex with him. And all of a sudden, he's fucking invincible and can take two on at the same time. And one of the guys punched the Statue of Liberty a bunch, and it broke the Statue of Liberty. And then these guys have to, like, squeeze together the Statue of Liberty with their big fucking muscles. And Biscuit Olivia is in this shit. And there's a scene where a guy has Biscuit, like, held up at gunpoint, and he's like, take off your clothes. And then Biscuit, like, gets naked, and he's just standing there, and he's like this, like, rippling black man, and they have this, like, Mason Plazer is the hentai. Okay. And it's just like this naked rippling black man, and then there's like a censored black bar for his dick, and it just extends past his knees. And keep in mind, Biscuit's like 7 feet tall, which reveals that Biscuit Olivia has like, God, fuck, how big would that be? Like a 3-inch dick. Like, this show is insane. It's fucking hilarious. Probably fit right in with Mason Plazer, honestly. So yeah, Baki was actually pretty fun. Every time I thought that the show couldn't get stupider, it always got stupider. And part of me just appreciates how dumb it got after a while. It was fucking hilarious. Okay, here's next. Here's the next. We're on bees. We're on bees. We're getting on to fucking Devilman soon. Quote slightly wrong, I'm the baddest, baldest motherfucker with a mustache that you'll ever see. Okay, yeah, see, the mustache is important. The mustache part is important. The mustache makes it. Beelzebub, as Miss Beelzebub lives. Okay, as I've said in Wadawa, this show is the incarnation of fluffiness, and it, over time, just gets really irritating to watch. Like, it uses, like, pastel, like, color palette, and everything has this, like, roundish, like, feel to it, and it looks, like, super cute and bouncy. And there's one background song in this that's just someone going, fwa fwa, fwa fwa, fwa fwa, which is just fucking fluffy over and over and over. And it conveys the idea of fluffiness better than anything I've ever seen. In fact, it conveys its central theme better than anything I have ever seen. But after 12 episodes, and these are full-length episodes, just to be clear, 24 minutes of this, it becomes too much. Fwafwa time, yes. Except it's just the word fwafwa. It's just the word fwafwa. So yeah, it's cute, but like in small doses. Oh, and this fucking I forget what the demon this is, but he's super shy and he can only express himself with like word cards. It's kind of adorable, and he's like got a thing for her, but they're just both so incredibly awkward that it just doesn't happen. It has its charms. It's just like overall, it's just too much. It's just too much. Holy shit, this came... Oh no, this was a fall anime. Okay, yeah, so we don't need to talk about that. It was Blend S, by the way, was what I was like, what? Blend S came out? And it didn't. It didn't. Okay, Hero Aka Season 3. Alright. So Hero Aka is what I've heard is called of, like, part of the, like, new Big Three, along with Black Clover and Promised Neverland. And, yeah, I recently watched Promised Neverland, but we're not talking about that yet. I have to talk about that once I'm done with this stream. Honestly, Season 3 felt mostly like setup. I mean, it's just more Hero Aka. It's not bad. I kind of enjoyed it, but there's nothing to really grasp onto, and it still feels like, as a show, it's just not, like, living up to its potential. There's an interesting conflict between Explosion Boy... Bakugo and Deku, and it's pretty entertaining in that regard, but like most of it, there's not a lot to... Oh, no, that's right, this season had the fight between One For All and All Might, and that was hype as shit. You're watching a Gaguk video of Funimation Studios, where now Kyoto Animation is probably my favorite animation. Oh, yeah, I've seen that video. That video is amazingly accurate and beautiful. Oh shit, especially like Trigger and Gainax. But yeah, Hero Aka is pretty okay. honestly. People fucking go, like, sploosh about this goddamn series, and it is okay, but it is not worth, like, I don't feel like it's worth all of the praise it gets. I mean, it's a good shonen, but it's just a good shonen. It never really seems like it's doing more. It seems like it can do more. It just never feel like like it actually does it. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's Hiroaka. That was also winter? Holy shit. I forgot about this. You just pointed Kiss Me Anime wasn't shown in the background. That'd be great. Okay, Citrus is about My Hero Academia is basically Naruto if Rock Lee was the protagonist. That's more of a description of Black Clover. You know what pisses me You know what pissed me off about fucking My Hero Academia is Deku doesn't deserve his goddamn powers. He worked for 8 goddamn months. Like, he worked out for 8 months just so he could, like, receive the fucking All Might hair power. But, like, you look at, like, other characters, like the guy with, like, fucking rockets strapped to his goddamn legs, and, like, look how fucking ripped that dude is. You think that guy wasn't working out longer than 8 months? Like, so much of the people that Deku go to school with have actually worked on their powers and trained for, like, way longer, and all Deku did was, like, sit around with his thumbs up his ass, you know, studying other heroes. And it's like, sure, you're learning about them and you're learning their strengths and weaknesses, but this isn't helping you improve as a person. And if you want to become a hero without powers, you're not doing anything to stop it. You're basically just like a fanboy at the edge. Have you seen Clerks? Could recreate that scene with Jay and Silent Bob. I have not seen Clerks the movie. I used to watch the cartoon, like late night on Adult Swim, but I've never seen the actual movie. Anyway, that's enough about Hiroaka. Get the fuck out of here, Hiroaka. You weren't worth the damn this year. I was wrong. So Citrus about this girl. Her mom marries this other girl's dad, and then they become stepsisters, and then she's fucking her teacher, and then she's like, stop fucking your teacher, and then she's like, but I like fucking my teacher, and she's like, stop fucking your teacher, and then she's like, I mean, do you want to fuck me instead of my, so I don't have to fuck my teacher? And she's like, sure, and then these two start fucking. That's the plot of Citrus. Actually, it's pretty cute. I kind of liked it towards the end, but it has that, like, Mirai Nikki problem where, like, this girl really just, like, would go for literally anyone who would have her. And so it creates this, like, issue where it's, like, the two couple, like, the main couple aren't actually, like, compatible so much. You know what I'm saying? And it's... I'm not saying it's, like, necessarily unrealistic in that regard. I'm just saying it's not interesting as a romance because of that. And, like, that's an issue with a lot of romances now, is it's like, reality's not interesting. You know, that's why we're watching a fucking anime. Oh, shit. Yeah, it is kind of like a drug dealer. Honestly, this is going to surprise everyone. I actually pay for most of my anime nowadays. I mean, I didn't think Citrus was bad. I've seen not a lot of Yuri, but I've seen a okay amount of Yuri. I don't really have any problems with Citrus. I'm aware there's better stuff, but this is specifically 2018 that we're talking about, you know? So that's why I had to talk about Citrus, because I'm just talking about everything at this point. Everything is on the discussion table. So yeah, Citrus, not bad. Can't talk about that one. Not talking about that one. Oh god, this fucking nightmare. You read the manga? I want they get to, the anime probably goes past the volume 1 of the manga. Okay, Darling in the Franxx. Darling in the Franxx, it gets better towards the end, I'd say. Darling in the Franxx. People say Darling in the Franxx got bad. Darling in the Franxx was never fucking good. At worst, it feels like a fucking ripoff of Gurren Lagann, which I didn't like in the first place. And at best, There is no best. Darling in the Franxx is fucking terrible. Every bit of it is terrible. I stand by the statement. It's fucking trash. I don't give a fuck. I don't understand why people like Zero so much. I'm clearly Team Ichigo, which just pissed like 1,000 people off. I don't fucking care. Ichigo's the best girl. Fuck you. Darling in the Franxx is trash. I don't know what the fuck Trigger was thinking. Why the fuck? They were fighting dinosaurs and then aliens? Why do you gotta go to space? You remember people hyping the fuck out of the show, which is why you didn't watch it? Don't. It's not worth it. Nothing about this show is worth watching. Even the ending is fucking terrible. They're fighting dinosaurs the whole fucking time, and then all of a sudden, they're fighting fucking space aliens because every goddamn Trigger show has to go to space. Just knock it off. It's basically just Gurren Lagann. I don't even like Gurren Lagann, and I would just say just watch Gurren Lagann, and you'd have a better version of Darling in the Franxx. Granted, you don't have fucking sex metaphors in Gurren Lagann. No, you do have sex metaphors in Gurren Lagann. That's why the drills exist. Yeah, just watch Gurren Lagann. You know what? That's my review of Darling in the Franxx. Just watch Gurren Lagann. Just do it. It's just the better version of it. Okay, here you go. This one's for you, Maid. Devilman Crybaby. Okay, I actually like Devilman Crybaby. I was never gonna watch it because I was never particularly interested in Devilman as like a franchise. I was aware of it. But Digibro made a video saying Devilman Crybaby. This thing came out immediately. This aired January 5th. Yeah, January 5th. This thing came out in January, and Digibro's like, well, first anime released of the year, best anime of the year. But Digibro, first off, I don't have... Digibro and my tastes are completely fucking alien to each other. Like, sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't, and I think we have literally a 0% compatibility on Mal. Like, it is super low. But he's like a big Devilman fan, especially the manga. And I've never read the manga. And he really liked this anime. But I'm not talking about Digibro's opinion on this. You can just go watch his video on why he liked it. I'm going to say that, as I said, I think this was the first fucking Wadawa of the year, was if Devilman Crybaby is the best anime of the year, 2018 is going to be a fucking shitty-ass year. And 2018 is a shitty-ass year. But Devilman Crybaby was not the best of the year. You have to leave now to avoid spoilers. Honestly, I thought you already left to avoid spoilers. This is Devilman from what I understand. I enjoyed it enough. It's got like the end of the world, had an exciting scenes in it. You know what I was like surprised of? Like Celine, I think her name is. Celine? Yeah, she reminds me a fuckload of Kill la Kill's main antagonist. Fucking, what's her name? Yeah. Ragyo. Like, I actually think... I think, like, Celine acted as inspiration for Ragyo. But I also heard that, like... And I will read yours out loud in a second. But I don't want to, like, lose my train of thought. I heard a lot, like... that Devilman Crybaby was supposed to be, like, so gory it even made me queasy, people have said. Nothing about this made me queasy or uncomfortable at any point, and there was what I've heard described as a heroic rape scene in it. But then again, I'm made of pretty thick stuff, so it was pretty... I just enjoyed it all around. I thought the ending was really great. I know you hate the fucking ending, but I thought it was really heartfelt at the end, and I enjoyed that aspect. I'm sure the manga's better, because it usually is, but I enjoyed it for what it was, which was like this like dark action show. So let's see. Most people who watched Crybaby, you get the feeling liked it for the pure gore and sex, which honest to God, go fucking watch Berserk or something. I don't even like Berserk, but that 1997 anime was better than this shit. Speaking of sex, there's no sex in the manga. There's nudity, but it's mostly breasts. Yuasa, this is by far his worst anime. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, the sex and the violence don't fucking do anything for me. In any context, usually ever. The only like ultraviolet scene that has I've ever found even moderately uncomfortable actually came from Made in Abyss of all things. And it's that fucking scene. You know that fucking scene, because it probably made you uncomfortable too if you've seen it. And if you haven't, I'm not going to spoil Made in Abyss, but overrated is what I'll say about that. And Akira and Ryo's character arcs are non-existent. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't think I really have much else to say about Devilman Crybaby. I enjoyed it overall. Some hardcore fans of the manga enjoy it because it's finally a Devilman adaptation, but they tend to think, like, even the ones that do like this anime, who are fans of the manga, think it's a flawed adaptation of the manga. And then there are people like Maid that, like, they're fans of the manga and they fucking hate it because it's a flawed adaptation of the manga. So, the takeaway is that Devilman Crybaby can be pretty enjoyable, but if you've read the manga, don't fucking bother, basically. Unless you've really been jonesing on an anime adaptation. And even then, I'm sure, like most people who've read the manga, still tend to, like, recommend the old, like, 80s version. So, there you go. Alright. I'm gonna move on from that. Oh, God. Oh, I forgot about this piece of fucking garbage. I forgot I watched this, and I had to sit through 11 goddamn episodes of this fucking trash. Alright, Days of Wrath, DSiRe. What do I even say about this shit? Look at this. There's a fucking sequel to this. There's a sequel to this, and I didn't fucking watch it. I didn't watch it. I didn't. I watch everything. I think, if anything, why does this have a fucking 4? Fuck you. This is a 3. Fucking, this show is terrible. There's nothing good to be said about this. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking about it. It doesn't fucking deserve a dialogue about it. Fuck you, DSiRe. Fuck off with that. Alright. Okay, episode 0 of DSiRe. It's fucking terrible. That's what I have to say about that. It's not worth watching. Don't watch it. Alright. Alright. Goblin Slayer. Okay. So Goblin Slayer's fucking boring. I know a lot of people are really in. You hate the preachy bullshit and Ryo crying so loudly when you just cried, which personally found more painful than Don't Leave Me. Yeah, I can understand why you'd say that. I thought it was nice to see his breakdown, which is something I appreciated. But I don't know. It depends on presentation, I guess. Probably harder to do like the silent look thing that the manga does. Anyway, Goblin Slayer, yeah, this got a lot of fucking flack for, like, the violence and, like, the murdering of, like, the, like, young adventuring team and, like, the rape of the girl in episode 1. And as someone who, again, isn't really bothered by, like, violence and, like, sexual violence and shit like that, Goblin Slayer did fucking nothing for me and didn't upset me in episode 1 at all. I just found the entire thing utterly uninteresting. Mostly because it's a fucking show about killing goblins. Like, it is exact. You watch one episode of, yeah, you probably hated the first episode of Goblin Slayer. Yeah, I watched, like, I watched Goblin Slayer, and yeah, it's about slaying goblins. The whole fucking thing is about slaying goblins, and you meet more characters, and you find how their lives have been affected by goblins, but here's the important part about fucking Goblin Slayer. Is none of it matters, because none of these are real characters with character arcs or character developments or names. Literally, none of them have names. None of them. Here, I'll prove it. Goblin Slayer. What's her name? Right here. Ona Shiken. Priestess. Fucking elf. Mojo. Dwarf. Dwarf is a main goddamn cast member. He doesn't even have a bio. His name is fucking Dwarf. You know what I'm saying? Like, these aren't real people, and it's supposed to be, for a fucking show that's just about murdering fucking goblins. You know, there's not even, like, really interesting action scenes, because all they do is murder fucking goblins, and they're like, oh no, we're murdering goblins. And there's no character development or character arcs, because these aren't real characters, these are just fucking archetypes that they've slapped together. And a lot of them are just like references to better works of fiction. Like, there's a warrior man who just looks exactly like Guts, and Guts is actually a really good protagonist. So when you have a character that looks like Guts, and he's contrasting your fucking trash-ass cast, it can't help but make me feel... Oh, and it's also super grimdark, just like Berserk. Just makes me feel, man, really would rather be reading fucking Berserk than watching this nonsense. Yo, Bible Black is hype as shit, though. Yeah, it was just not interesting. There was nothing to latch on to. I mean, if you like just like dumb action, I guess I can get why people are into Goblin Slayer, but there was nothing to grab me about it. It just kept going, and then it stopped. And then they explain, like, the Goblin King is supposed to be, like, a platinum level, like, world adventurer, and then Goblin Slayer just solos him at the end, but Goblin Slayer couldn't take the fucking demon earlier, so it didn't make fucking sense. You gave it a 2 or a 4. Black Bible or this? Because I gave this a 4. Because this deserves a 4, because this is not... This wasn't worth the fucking controversy, if we're being honest. Yeah. Although I will say that they did a good thing with Elf here, where they had, when the girl gets raped in episode 1, they have a very specific way, and I think this is partially why it got criticism, was the way... Oh, you gave Bible Black a 2 or 4? I think I gave Bible Black like a 7. They had a specific way they framed it that people called overly sexual, but I think the reason they did that was so that they could later use the similar framing for Elf in the series, where there's a scene where everyone is fucked, and there is No Game No Life is best isekai. Change your mind. I'd have to think on that. But Goblin Slayer is an isekai, and I don't. Neither is Bible Black. And then they used the same framing that they used for the girl getting raped in episode 1 for when they're, like, tearing off Elves' clothes in, like, episode, like, 4 or 6 or something. And because... And you have more time with the Elf. And they try and develop her. I mean, they fail at it, but they try to. And because you have more time with her, you have more of an attachment to the character. So when you see the exact same thing being done to her in the same way as, like... the girl in episode 1, you actually care more when it happens to her, and it kind of, like, immediately escalates the stakes. It was presented as one. No, it is not an isekai series at all. It has hints that it's actually just a D&D game. Goblin Slayer. Yeah, it has hints that it's a D&D game being played. People say D&D. I don't think this is D&D. I think it's, a Japanese role-playing game that we don't have over here in the West called Sword World. I think it's actually Sword World. But people say D&D because they don't know about Sword World. But yeah, I think it's a Sword World game. But yeah, so when they use the same framing, it immediately gives more credence in, like, dire situation to, like, Elves' situation, because you know exactly what's about to happen. And then they fucking ruin that scene, because Priestess has her fucking arm just almost ripped off by this giant goddamn monster. And so they have her, like, fucking laying there bleeding to death. And they're like, oh man, Goblin Slayer is a reference from Dungeons & Dragons? I think it's Sword World. I'm pretty sure, I think it might be Sword World. People say Dungeons & Dragons, but they always show them rolling 6-siders, and you don't roll 6-siders in Dungeons & Dragons for those purposes. I don't know how Sword World works. Every time you play D&D, the other players always let you get raped and laugh about it so you don't doubt it. Who the fuck is your DM that you keep getting raped? Because I have DM'd for over 10 years, and I have never once had a player get raped. Mostly because why would I? Sounds like you play with bad fucking people, is what I'm hearing. But yeah, then they immediately throw the tension out by being like, oh, she's fine. And then they're like, oh, but Goblin Slayer, you may die. And it's like, no, first off, nobody gives a fuck about Goblin Slayer. The man doesn't even have a face. And second off, you're not going to kill Goblin Slayer because you don't have the balls to kill Goblin Slayer. Like, the way to do it would have been to kill fucking Goblin Slayer in that scene and have Priestess take over as the new Goblin Slayer. I would have respected the show for that. It doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. It doesn't have the fucking balls to do that. Okay, so that guy your friend knows sounds like a real fucking asshole, and you shouldn't play D&D with him, is what I'm saying. There's no real fucking reason you should get raped in D&D. That's just, like, unpleasant for everyone. That's just fucked up. Unless it's like one of those games where everyone like consents to it being like a creepy sex thing beforehand, but I don't think you would consent to that. So, okay, I didn't even watch this last year, and this is a movie, so this wasn't even eligible. But yeah, Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters is fucking retarded. In a fun way. Yeah, so humanity, for some reason, develops a Godzilla, and then they flee the planet, and then they end up on a different planet, but then they find out the planet's uninhabitable, and they don't have enough resources to make it back to Earth, so they shoot all of their old people into the sun, and then they fly back, and then they arrive, and then they find out, because of time dilation, that the planet has aged 20,000 years. Thank you. And now all of the planet has adapted itself purely to suit Godzilla's purposes, and then they kill Godzilla, and then at the end you find out that there's a bigger Godzilla. And the movie just ends. Oh yeah, and humanity allied itself with 2 alien races, which are more important in the future movies. But yeah, this shit is crazy. Okay, fucking, here we go. Godzilla 2, City on the Edge of Battle. So, one of the alien races, the Bossalato, tried to create a super weapon of nanobots from, to create something called Mecha Godzilla. And they rediscover Mecha Godzilla to try and kill the new, bigger Super Godzilla. And they, also get introduced to these, like, insect women. Which is pretty funny. And then they try and create Mechagodzilla City, which is like the remnants of the old Mechagodzilla, to try and kill Godzilla, but they need to turn themselves all into monsters to kill Godzilla, and the main character ain't about that life. Did Japan adopt Godzilla? Japan created Godzilla. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, because you've only seen Gojira? Yeah, I guess so. Godzilla, yeah. What do you know? Yeah, so it's fucking, it's crazy. And then the main character's like, no, I ain't about to be a Godzilla monster. I'm not cool with that. And so he like kills all of the Bossalato, and then they're like, well, great, now we're in a situation where we can't fucking fight Godzilla. Good job. Oh, and then his love interest dies. So that happens. Godzilla 3 is what's next on this list here. Yeah, like the name Godzilla. I guess so, because it says here in Japanese, Godzilla, and then a bunch of Japanese characters. Godzilla 3, The Planet Eater. Okay, so the final remaining alien race sacrifices humans to and their religious power to summon a King Ghidorah, whatever. And they attack Godzilla from another dimension. And yeah, this one is pretty okay. Honestly, this one was actually a poor ending, and like the fight you think between like King Ghidorah and Godzilla would be like super hype, but it really wasn't. It was like Godzilla's like in the sky, and then he's being bitten, and then he falls, and then he laser beams Ghidorah. It wasn't. I keep saying this wrong, and I'm sure it's fucking triggering someone somewhere. Ghidorah. Can't be worse than Godzilla 98. Probably not. Probably not. It was okay. And then the main character impregnates this insect girl, and then they get married. But then they find little pieces of Mechagodzilla City, and they're like, we can use this to restore humanity's power and finally overtake Godzilla, because they never kill Godzilla at any point in these goddamn movies. And the main character's like, no, we have to live with the planet. I can't allow us to become monsters like the Basilado. And so he takes the remaining technology and he flies into a Godzilla laser, and then he fucking dies. And he just leaves his pregnant insect wife to raise their fucking kid alone like a goddamn asshole. You only saw it because Rage Against the Machine was on the soundtrack. Hey, there's dumber reasons to watch something. Okay, Graincrest Senki. This is actually an adaptation of a manga I wanted to read, which I don't think I want to read anymore because I took it off. I think I took it off. Yeah, we can go ahead and delete this. Actually, I'm never gonna fucking read this anymore because this anime was trash. Yeah, okay, so this anime fucking sucked. God, I watched this a long time ago. When did this air? Winter 2018. Yeah, so I watched this in fucking springtime. No wonder I don't remember any goddamn thing about it. Nothing was noteworthy about this, actually. I think the fact that I don't remember enough to actually complain about it says everything I need to about it. Also, her outfit made fucking sense at the start of the series, why she's wearing this, like, slutty outfit. It made total sense. You know what didn't make total fucking sense? Why she kept wearing it. Just change your fucking clothes. No one is making you wear this past, like, no one made her wear this past episode 1, and she kept complaining about it until, like, episode 3, and then after episode 3, she's like, you know what, I've really adapted to these slutty clothes I'm wearing, I think I'm gonna keep wearing them. And it's like, why? Just take them off. Just change to literally anything. Just change into literally anything. Anyway, yeah, this is a huge war about, like, 3 factions, and then, like, her dad dies, and then she has a thing for, like, the enemy leader over here, and they're about to get married, and then this is episode 1 I'm spoiling, so this isn't even that big. And then they get fucking murdered, and then she's like, well, I guess fate doesn't want us to get married, I guess I'm gonna conquer the world. And he's like, please don't. And then she's like, nope, conquering the world. And then at the end, it's pretty predictable. I mean, it's the fucking, like, church that, like, caused everything. It's whatever. Who cares? And then she has sex with the biggest asshole in the show just to get his army for no fucking reason, and then he dies, like, immediately, which makes the whole scene just uncomfortable and gross. So yeah, Graincrest Senki, don't watch it. Don't watch it. Just don't watch it. Perfect. That's my review. Don't watch it. Okay, Happy Sugar Life. Happy Sugar Life isn't interesting at all. It's about a, like, older yandere girl who adopts a loli. Is this registered as a romance? It's not. Good, because it's not. It's not a romance at all. She doesn't, like, it's portrayed as, like, a Yuri series, but it's not. They have no actual romantic feelings for each other, so it's not even a Yuri. She just, like, fucking steals this fucking kid. Sumi Masen? She just fucking steals this, like, fucking kid off the street and just adopts her and then kills anyone that comes looking for her. What synopsis, right? Which synopsis? Graincrest or Happy Sugar Life? Oh god, did I remember to change my dialogue delay? I did, I definitely did. So you should be hearing me at the appropriate times. Yeah, you are, yeah. You gotta watch out whenever changing from, like, PC, the yandere pedo. Yeah. People say it's about a yandere pedo, it's not. This is not a Yuri, like, loli series. I mean, she's a loli, but they're not in a relationship. They don't actually have romantic feelings. She just fucking steals this kid. She does develop a yandere-esque, like, stalker relationship with the girl, but she's not, like, it's not romantic between them. It is romantic with one of the characters, who also develops a fucking stalker relationship. This guy? Yeah, this guy. This guy, on the other hand, does have romantic feelings for the little girl. The basic plot about this is that there's a little girl, and everyone wants the little girl. Everyone in this fucking show is insane. You can count on your hands, in fact, and I have done this. How many characters are actually sane in this entire show? The answer is 3. 2 of those characters don't have talking lines, and one of those characters only has one dialogue line, which is something like, "Dear, is everything okay out there?" And that's her only fucking line. And this fucking lady right here, Sato's aunt, is fucking lunatic. First off, that's an amazing twist ending. She's the craziest goddamn character in the show, believe it or not, which is like the aunt of like the main yandere. She's great. The only real redeeming thing about Happy Sugar Life is that the whole fucking thing is terrible, but it could be redeemable by the ending if they make a sequel to Happy Sugar Life about the main girl here, like the little Loli. If she has a sequel where she's a yandere, and they use Happy Sugar Life as a prequel to her, they could tell, like, Happy Sugar Life could function as her backstory for, like, a future series where she is just, like, it would function as the greatest explanation for a yandere ever, because the whole show is just her backstory, basically. And they hint that she's a yandere, like, she goes full yandere at the end of the show, too, in, like, the last scene. Oh, you don't like Loveless? Yeah, they hint she goes full yandere at the end of the show. So, did I know yandere ASMR is a thing? I didn't, but I'm sure, but I understand why. Personally, I've never got yandere fetishes. So yeah, if they make a sequel to this with her as like the main character, like the main yandere, that'd be amazing. I mean, this would be the greatest yandere backstory ever made, but they won't, because I think the manga's still going. Yeah, the manga's still going. So they're never going to do that, but they could, and it'd be great, but they won't. Okay, Harukana Receive. This is about beach volleyball. The whole show is leading up to, like, the Nationals, and then they never get to the fucking Nationals. So it's really, like, it tries to be a sports show, but it's not long enough to be a successful sports show. Because the main character has never plucked and played volleyball in her goddamn life. So a lot of the show is her learning to play volleyball. I always feel like some ASMR is supposed to be vaguely sexual. So I think that's the idea of yandere ASMR. But yeah, I mean, it's an okay sports show. There's nothing really to talk about. The last match in the show is pretty fucking exciting, but, like, kind of just the last match, so it's not really what's relaxing about any of that. I mean, some people are... look, I personally don't have a yandere fetish, so I don't, like, get it myself, but I know some people are into that, and I think that's the idea. So yeah, Harukana Receive, okay sports show. Not really to latch onto, and there's no real conclusion because they never actually do nationals. So it's just I mean, if you like cute girls in bathing suits, I guess there you go. But I mean, that's all there is to it. All right, Cells at Work. Cells at Work. Is this like K-On, where it's less about the music and more about the characters as people? Yes, it is like K-On in that regard, but I will say that the girls in K-On are more interesting. So yeah, it's kind of like K-On in that regard, but I mean, K-On's better. Okay, Cells at Work. This is an educational show about the cells in your body where they anthropomorphize your cells in the body to teach you about cells and viruses and shit. It's actually, like, incredibly accurate, believe it or not. Like, one of the things I do is, like, I'm subscribed to a bunch of doctors on YouTube, and one of them, is it Dr. Hope, I think, reacts to Cells at Work. And he always, like, talks about, like, how impressed he is with, like, the medical detail they go into. So, pretty good as education. The Loli platelets are adorable. Shockingly, there's like character development in it, and like they like establish some of the background characters and like use running jokes to like portray character relationships, and like especially the ending is fucking dramatic as shit. Pretty good. Oh, they're making a season 2, huh? Ah, yeah, I'll watch that. Yeah, I'd watch the season 2. That says it all right there. I'd watch a season 2 of that. So there you go. Sells at work. Yeah, you probably heard about it. This one got a lot of like traction. I'm surprised it's at like a 7.83 actually. I want to see. Let's look at the stats on this. Most people give it an 8 or a 9 or a 7. Yeah, that's fair. I get that. All right. Okay, High School DD. Season like 5, season 100, season 9,360. Making science fun. Yeah, exactly. And adorable. Okay, yeah, this is, I think, the worst season of High School DD, if I'm being totally honest with you. They changed animation studios, and that's not the issue, if we're being totally honest. Oh, this is an unfortunate animation studio to have done fucking School Days. Yeah, this is the worst season. There's too much. People always say that High School DD is like plot with plot, you know, using the jokes that like big breasts are plot, but like this season is more just plot. Like it's just like fucking fan service, and I don't feel like any ideas are really progressed or any of the characters are developed, and it's just overall I just remember this entire season just being like disappointing and not accomplishing anything. However, there's a man named Georg in it, and that is a running joke with me about the name Georg from the game Neverwinter Nights 2, where there's a dude that's like, go talk to Georg, and it's just the name George without an E at the end, and so I laughed my fucking ass off when there was a character named Georg. It was it was fan service from day one, but it always had a plot and like action scenes and like cared about like its characters and shit. This season didn't. It was just fan service. Like, I think there was a plot, but it wasn't interesting. It was just like a rehash of like some guy shows up and I don't care or know what happens. It's just too much fan service for me. It was just too much. Like, if you watch High School DD for the tits, fucking this season is your season, but it wasn't. Oh yeah, and I think Revel Phoenix joins the main cast, which is great because Revel Phoenix is best girl. High School of the Dead was good, but I also legitimately read that for the plot. So, you know, for me, there is a such thing as like too much fan service. But yeah, Revel Phoenix joins the main plot, so main cast, so that's great. Okay, so this is that show was self-aware. This is a prequel that fixes the ending of the last season. Apparently, last season went in its own direction from like the night novels. And this is just like, this fixes that ending. This is like, no, this is the canon ending. This is how it went in the novels. Ignore that shit. And then they put that out so that you would understand what happens in this season, but it wasn't really worth it because it didn't matter. None of it mattered. None of it fucking mattered. Himota House. Himota House is the fucking... fucking Himota House. Sorry about that. I went into a laughing fit thinking about this show. Fucking Himota House. Okay. I can't believe they fucking made this show. Matrix tits. That's an interesting description of it. Okay. Himota House is one of those like new 3D anime, so a lot of people couldn't fucking look at it. But main plot is this girl right here. This girl right here? Nope. This girl right here moves into a house with a bunch of other women, and all of those women have psychic powers. And this is so stupid. This is like episode 1 of this fucking show. We're gonna be talking about Himoda House. I can't let this fucking stream end without a deep dive into the nonsense that is Himoda House. So this girl moves in with a bunch of other psychic girls, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you should probably know we all have psychic powers. And she's like, wow, that's fucking crazy. You all have psychic powers? I wonder if I have psychic powers. And the other girls are like, try, maybe you have psychic powers. And then she finds out she has psychic powers. And she's like, oh, I guess I have psychic powers. And that's like episode 1 of Himoda House. And it gets fucking better. Because the next, like, 3 or 4 episodes of Himoda House are... the next 3 or 4 episodes about Himoda House are the girls trying to get boyfriends. And they're like, man, it's so hard to get boyfriends. And she's like, what? You're all so attractive. How can't you have boyfriends? And it's like, well, they're just turned off by our psychic powers. And so they go to, like, on dates with, like, guys, like blind dates with guys, and you see them talking to the guys, and they are just the most obnoxious women ever. It's, like, amazing. Like, one of them is on, like the guy's, like, talking to her, so it's like, so, what do you like to do in your spare time? And she's just, like, looking at her phone, just typing, like, yeah. And then, like, they get off, and it's like, I don't understand why guys won't date us. It's because of our psychic powers. And it's like, no, ladies, you're all just terrible. That's why. And then they, like, dive through, like, magazines to, like, try and, like, change their personas and like their fashion styles to, like, get boyfriends, and they always fail. And that's, like, the first, like, 3 or 4 episodes. And then around, like, episode 3 or 4, the show starts to end with, like the voice actresses being, like, asked questions. And they start answering questions from the voice actresses, and as the show goes, once it starts from, like, episodes, like, 3 to 4, like, to 5, you know, the voice actress segments where they're talking to the voice actresses progressively gets longer and longer, and the voice actresses start doing more improv, and then half of the show is the girls trying to get boyfriends and failing, and the other half of the show is the fucking voice actresses just doing improv work. And then at about episode 6, the show completely drops its plot, and the remaining 6 episodes are just the voice actresses improv comedy. I've never seen a show give up on its fucking plot before. They didn't give a fuck. It's just improv comedy from episode 6 onward. I can't believe this show got made. Oh shit. Oh shit. Yeah, so that's fucking Himoda House. They didn't give a fuck at any stage of this. It's great. It's fucking amazing. If you want to see a show literally give up, watch Himoda House. Is this... Oh, no, this is a fall anime. Okay, Masters of Ragnarok. Okay, Masters of Ragnarok. Okay, in order to talk about Masters of Ragnarok, we need to talk about a significantly better show. A significantly better show called... In Another World with My Smartphone. Now, In Another World with My Smartphone is one of those examples where everyone who watched it didn't fucking watch it because they clearly misinterpreted the idea behind it. In Another World with My Smartphone is a parody series which shows you what is that title? What, In Another World with My Smartphone, or the Master of Ragnarok and Blesser of Einhar? Because that's that title, and then that's fucking Smartphone. But anyway, Smartphone. is a parody of the fucking isekai genre. The main character dies for no reason, gets sent to a magical world for no reason, and he brings his goddamn smartphone. And God's like, oh, sure. While I'm at it, I'll give you fucking every magical power ever. Here's your smartphone. It can connect to the super internet. And yeah, good luck. And then, and the best thing about smartphone is it's just pure parody. It's like One Punch Man, but a fucking isekai series. And the main character is so fucking brokenly overpowered in this show that plot lines resolve instantly. It is insane. Like, I think it's like episode 3 or 4 where they point out how fucking crazy this shit is. Where the main character goes out for groceries, comes back 4 hours later, engaged to the princess of the goddamn country. It's amazing. Smartphone is beautiful. And it came out in like 2017. And the light novel adaptation happened in like 2015, so like dead in the center of the isekai boom, and was basically just making fun of isekai shows and how fucking stupid and lazy they are. And nobody seems to understand this, which is why the show got such bad ratings. But here's the sad part about Smartphone, is that fucking Master of Ragnarok came out not long afterward. And Master of Ragnarok does basically everything Smartphone does. Except it doesn't have the self-awareness that Smartphone does. And it does it completely seriously. Like every single thing that Smartphone made fun of, Ragnarok just does it. Intentionally. The main character, I am not fucking with you. Alright? Like, people have said that, like, Smartphone is the, like, shark jumping moment of isekai, but it's not, because it's doing it on purpose. Master of Ragnarok has the main character with a fucking smartphone. And it's not a joke. And it's not parody. It's just totally serious. He just has a smartphone. Like, it plays it completely straight. And it is just the worst. It's solar powered, and he uses a magic fucking mirror to look up battle tactics. He fucking, oh my fucking god, the fucking shit that this show has. He buys a slave. I think it's her. He buys her, and he just keeps her. He just fucking keeps her. He just keeps a slave from that point on. And they don't, like, play it as, like, this dark moral, like, failure by his part. It's just like, you're my fucking slave now. It's fucking terrible. I will give it some credit, though, which is that he has this, like, relationship with, and as always, with my blacksmith fetish. No, it wasn't Ingrid. Ingrid isn't the slave. With my blacksmith fetish, Ingrid is the fucking best. Because apparently I have a thing for redhead blacksmith girls, but it's a very specific fetish, damn it. Yeah, I was wrong about which one was the slave. It's not her. I don't know which one it was. It doesn't matter. She doesn't even fucking matter, apparently. She wasn't even worth putting on there. But yeah, he just purchased a slave and just keeps her and her mom around. It's really fucking creepy, and they don't even point it out or have any issues with it. But yeah, all the girls want to fuck him. He has a fucking smartphone. It's fucking stupid. He's like the strongest character ever. It's fucking terrible, and everything that Smartphone made fun of, it does seriously. It is just absolute garbage. It's really entrenched into Norse mythology. Like, I think if the only thing they did their research on is Norse mythology, because every character has a Nordic parallel, and the whole thing is about playing out the story of Ragnarok, but for more of a historical aspect. But that's fine. It doesn't really matter. But he does have contact with his, childhood friend across this, magic mirror crystal. And they talk on the phone through the magic mirror crystal kind of thing. And I've heard her described as the only reason he doesn't, fuck all of the other girls, which is kind of true. But what I will give the credit for, and I'm going to spoil Masters of Ragnarok because no one should ever watch it, is that at some point they actually managed to get him back. As a counter to his power, one of the enemies just teleports him into the future. so he doesn't come back. But he ends up meeting back up with his childhood friend, and he fucking proposes marriage to her, and they agree to get married, and then they both simultaneously travel back in time to go finish Ragnarok. Which I'll give credit for that. I thought that was a kind of a cool moment. Also, this guy is a fucking retard. Like, at one point on the phone, like, his girlfriend, like looks at his, like, phone, and, like, she, like, kisses it, and she says, in Japanese, Tsuki ga kurei desu ne, which means, like, the moon is beautiful, isn't it? Which is, like, a slang way in Japan of saying, I love you. And this fucking retard, this dumb motherfucker, he looks at, like, the moon, and, like, his physical moon is like, yeah, I guess the moon's kind of pretty. And I'm like, you dumbass. You dumbass. Anyway, that's Masters of Ragnarok. Yeah, it has some good ideas, but mostly just fucking horseshit, and you should never watch it. It's just terrible. Don't watch it. Don't watch anything that came out in 2018. Just throw it all in a garbage can. Okay. How Not to Summon a Demon Lord is another isekai series. It has basically the same plot as Overlord, but this one's funny, and the characters are likable. He gets summoned into basically a video game world of the video game he plays, and he gets to keep all of his levels and power and items just like Ainz does, but they play it as a comedy. And these two girls are trying to summon him as like a familiar, but they fuck up because he has the ability to reflect magic. So he ends up having them as his familiar, and they end up getting like slave binded to him. However, and this is an important part, they bring it on themselves, and also, unlike in fucking Masters of Ragnarok, this is treated as a bad thing, and all three characters universally want to find a way to free them from slavery. Again, not like Masters of Ragnarok. You don't know how to feel about Ragnarok except this? Alright, let's see. Shaking my head downtown in disgust. Oh dear. There you go. Can't watch the whole thing because I have to upload this on YouTube, but there you go. But yeah, so they end up becoming his slaves on accident because they like tried to enslave him, and then it bounces back, and then all three of them are like, yo, we got to get you like not enslaved. Yeah, this is just like a cute, funny little series. They actually finish this one, by the way. Like, the plot ends. It's pretty great. Pretty great that the fucking, like, there's nothing more to tell about this stories. Also, yes, shaking your head at Ragnarok is a good idea. And he has this fucking spell where it's called Grand Magic, where it's just like this, like, tiny little snowflake that drops on the ground. It just creates this fucking death laser that, like, wipes out the enemy army. My only, like, major gripe with it is, like, this girl right here. She should be fucking dead. Like, she leads an enemy army of, like, monsters to attack, like, the city, and I'm convinced that the only reason she survived is because she was a lady, because when the, like, dude attacks the city, he absolutely fucking rips that guy apart, you know, and it's like, come on, we can kill women. I mean, it's fair's fair. She's a bad guy. She's great. Right, her, here. She's great. I won't say why in case anyone wants to watch that. This one I can actually recommend as something to watch if it's your cup of tea, but only if it's your cup of tea. Which, from what I've said about it, you know if it's your cup of tea at this point. Oh, here we go. Okay. I want you to make a disgusted face and show me your underwear. Oh, this darling gem that they're making a sequel to. They're making a sequel to this. So here's the thing. Like, there's several characters. And it starts with the main character, and this is done from a first-person perspective. So this is you saying this. Let's be clear. It's a first person, second person. There's only two characters. This is you talking to the women, and so you You, the audience member, come up to this maid, and you're this rich guy, and you're like, hey, I'm your employer. I want you to make a disgusted face and show me your underwear. And she's like, I could sue you for that. And then she ends up doing it, and then she's like disgusted with you, and she's like, I hate you, sir. You fucking suck. And then you do the same thing to like this nun, who it's like implied that you're like kind of like a priest or someone that comes by the church often. You do the same thing to her, who you're like her upperclassman, and her you're like her manager. And at first I'm like, man, it seems like in all of these scenarios you're like this like guy with like these positions of power over these. No, not the nun. It's these three. Like, you're her manager in her idol, because she's an idol. You're her boss because she's your maid, and you're like her upperclassman in like a Shinto church. And these three are like the first three, and it's all like really creepy because you're all like in like this position of power in all three of them, and it's like, oh god, this doesn't feel like good. It's like you're like sexually harassing this woman. And then it gets to like this like church, like this nun and this like schoolgirl and this fucking like nurse, who you have no fucking power over whatsoever. You're not in a position of power in any way to actually make them do it, and they still do it. And eventually you come to the realization, I came to the realization, about you're not, because you never hear your character, your POV's actual dialogue, you come to the realization of what is actually being said and what is actually going on in these scenarios. And I want to be clear that I've come to the conclusion that I want you to make a disgusted face and show me your underwear. You are not the boss of these women, and you are not sexually harassing them. This is clearly a consensual dialogue, and they're just going along with your weird fetish. And you are specifically asking them to make a disgusted face and show them show you their underwear. And they're like, this is weird, but if it's what you're into, I guess I'll do it. And then they make fun of you because it's what you're into. So this whole thing, by the end, I came to the conclusion that you're just this weird fetish masochist man. And the girls are like they're into you enough to put up with it, even if they're not totally down for it. So just a fucking weird show that I put way too much thought into is what this is. Like Miharu tights, probably. But we'll see if that one's creepy. There's no picture, meme, or GIF or video to express how you feel about this. Well, there you go. I did way too much. Oh, and let's just point something out right here. You see how these characters have fucking names, even though this is a 5-minute video about women mocking you? Specifically, already there are more character to these characters than there are in the entirety of Goblin Slayer. And people wonder why I have a fucking problem with Goblin Slayer. This is literally a 5-minute fucking fetish video, and still they like you, and still they're better characters than Goblin Slayers. Alright, Teasing Master Takage-san. Okay, so, they're making a season 2 of Takage-san. I won't watch it. Alright, so the basic idea about Takage-san is it's like this boy and a girl, and they have a thing for each other, clearly, and she teases him constantly, and he's always trying to get, like, a one-up on her, but I'm gonna spoil the whole show. It's 12 episodes, 23 minutes. It's a relatively short manga, I believe, like chapter lengthwise, so they fit about 3 chapters into each episode, which you should be able to do usually. And so that's 12 times 3, 36 different like segments for this show. And every time he tries to get an upper hand on her, and he never does, ever. And if there was like a bit of a back and forth to like the romance, or you could see it going in a direction, it would be okay. But like over the course of the entire show, it's too much, and she just becomes this like invincible enemy, and it just like kind of sours on it, you know, where it's like, wow, and like every time, and it becomes more annoying because you can always see where he's gonna go wrong. Because he always overthinks this, like he thinks like 5 layers deep, and she's only thinking 2 layers deep. And she can get away with this because she knows he's going to think like 5 layers deep, and he's just going to overthink it, and he's just going to fuck himself over. And he does every time. And it gets to a point where, as an audience member, you can predict exactly what she's going to say because, like, he makes the same mistake every time, and he never fucking learns from it. And it's just annoying. So that's Takage-san. It's okay, but again, it's just like another fucking romance from 2018 that's not goddamn worth it. Shit. What the fuck do I say about fucking Killing Bites? I watched Killing Bites because of the author, who made Arachnid, and Arachnid's pretty fucking good. But Killing Bites is okay. It's about this fucking honey badger girl, and she fights other, like, animal people. The theme song was by Fripside. So that's cool. So it's probably a fucking killer-ass theme song, and I just forgot about it, actually. But yeah, it was a dumb action show. Has a real downer ending that leads into a sequel. That, I don't know if they're ever going to make a sequel, but there you go. Leads into another arc, Killing Bites. Animal people fighting. Oh, yeah. And then there's one character who has the ability to, like, let out pheromones that make people horny, and so there's a scene where the animal girls just fuck. It's just right on camera. Like, they're being recorded. It's fucking hilarious is what it is. So yeah, Killing Bites. Alright. Boarding School Juliet. Boarding School Juliet is probably the second best romance of 2018, is what I'm going to say about that. It's like the story of Romeo and Juliet. She's a little bit of a stuck-up bitch, but he's like this like jokery cool guy, but they're actually kind of cute together, and it's like they're in 2 different dormitories from 2 different countries, and they're banned from seeing each other, but they do it anyway. And then his best friend is like super patriotic for her country, and then like finds out, and then tries to fucking murder him when she finds out. It's like a complete subversion where it's like, you can always trust me, and he's like, okay, I'm dating an enemy, and she's like, oh, well then I'm gonna kill you, and he's like, I'd like to take this back, and she's like, nope, you're fucking dead. But it all works out at the end. It's overall pretty cute. I wanted to read the manga, and then I didn't. But I'll probably read it eventually. It's definitely be worth a read, I think. I thought the anime was pretty cute. I don't know why I put Real Girl above this, to be honest. I think Real Girl had more romantic developments, which is probably why I would have done that. Alright, Kokuku. Kokuku. Is the entire anime of Kokuku takes place in like 11 minutes because they stop time in like episode 1, and then it just stays fucking stopped, and then you find out that if like you violate time rules, time law, you become like a tree person. And there's like the evil villains have like they're inside of the stopped time, and it's just like a fight between people in stopped time, and then they like kill the tree cops, the time cops, and then the ending is lazy. But other than that, pretty cool. Oh, and Miyavi. Yeah, Miyavi does the theme song. It's fucking knee slapper. If anything is to be taken away from Kokuku, it's the fucking opening flashback by Miyavi is fucking great, and you should listen to it because it's fucking great. So that's what I have to say about Kokuku. Alright, what do we got next? Alright, last period is... This has a crossover with... I'm trying to remember. Higurashi. This is a crossover with Higurashi. But yeah, last period is about the dangers of the gacha system. It's a warning about gachas, which is good because I don't play gachas. But overall, it's not very interesting, and it doesn't do anything great, and I don't have anything more to say about it. So, last period. How fucking far are we? Oh my god, I'm only half done. Okay. Alright. Half done. I brought this on myself. This pain. This pain only I know. Alright, Maho Shoujo Site. Maho Shoujo Site is... It's another one of those fucking anime that came out in... like the same vein as Madoka Magica. It's like... the main character girls get like... I don't know if she goes to a site anymore. I barely remember what this shit is. But she gets like magical girl powers. And it's like magical girls and like a death match against each other to like cause the apocalypse or whatever. And her brother's like a creepy rapist, who eventually gains mind control powers. It's just like the whole thing is just like uncomfortable at its worst and just fucking uninteresting at its best, you know? You haven't watched the last episode of Magical Girl Site? It's too scary. Yeah, it's... I did. As you can see, 12 of 12. It's just fucking crappy. It's just not good. It's just bad. It's... like, there's so much, like, dark magical girl anime that came out in the wake of Madoka. And look, I'm not even that big into Madoka, but if you're into Madoka, just rewatch Madoka, and it's probably better than most of this other crap that's come out. Like, making it darker doesn't make it better, is all I'm saying. Yeah, Magical Girl Site. What I gotta talk about. Alright. Ancient Magus Bride. It counts because it came out in the fall of 2017. I've heard people say that, like, Ancient Magus Bride is, like, a perfect... like, it brings back magic, because I don't know how it works, but, like... okay, you know what? I said I'm naming names in this fucking video. Mother's Basement said that. So I'm just going to put this out here. I know exactly how magic fucking works in this system because unlike most anime that, like, bases its shit off of, like, Japanese, like, folklore and magic systems, Ancient Magus Bride is based heavily on, like, English Celtic, like, specifically European, like, folklore. And I know... as much about European folklore as I know about Japanese folklore. So all of this made perfect fucking sense to me. Mahou Shoujo can be good without dark story. You don't like lately to make it like that. They make it like that because Madoka Magica got really fucking popular and now everyone's trying to bite off that Madoka apple, which isn't worth it because you're not going to be able to remake Madoka. Like, so many people are like, we can do it. We'll be the next Madoka. You're not going to be the next Madoka. And let's keep in mind, you know, that, like, if we're talking about, like, the most influential Magical Girl series, we're probably talking, like, Cutie Honey, Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, Nonoha, you know. It's like... the shows that are known for being, like, the most influential magical... Precure... the influential Magical Girl series are known... Madoka, obviously. I left that one out. Are known for being the influential magical series they are because they innovated. And so you're not going to be able to recapture the magic of Madoka. The best you can do is try and make your own Magical Girl series to be the next Madoka in that regard. And, like, one that, like, breaks the mold and expands the idea of what a Magical Girl anime can be. Instead of just trying to make a grim, dark Madoka ripoff. And that's your better bet. Like, make good programming. Don't make ripoffs of good programming. Anyway... so, Ancient Magus Bride, this girl sells herself into slavery because she's fucking bored and suicidal, and then she ends up Shugokara. Shugokara is good, but I was talking about specifically, like, I said Precure. Specifically influential, like, long-running Magical Girl series, not just, like, noteworthy ones. They're popular without dark stories? Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I was talking about, like, groundbreaking series. But, like, yeah, Ancient Magus Bride is... It's pretty interesting. It's pretty good. The villain is the Wandering Jew, Heartphilius, the Wandering Jew, which is interesting. You don't see the Wandering Jew get brought up as a character very often. I don't know, and not really much to talk about, honestly. It really blew people away, but it's fucking. It just explores European folklore, the mythology, which I know about. So, nothing too good, nothing too bad. I like how the fairies are dicks. Fairies should be dicks. Like, in like episode 1, the main girl like meets a fairy, and the fairies are like, "Hey, come with us into the forest," and she's like, "Sure, why not?" and then they're like, "Hey, where are we going?" And they're like, "Oh, you're never coming back here again. Yeah, no, we've kidnapped you." And she's like, "Oh, okay, that fucking sucks. Wish you'd unkidnap me." And they're like, "Nah." And it's like, wow, that's an accurate portrayal of fairies in European folklore. They're fucking assholes. So yeah, did a good job of that. March and Mad-chan is a magical girl series where the girls gain powers based on the fairy tales that they're taking their bullshit from. Like they have fairy tale based superpowers based on their transformation, and they all go to a school to fairy tale fight each other. It got such poor fucking ratings in Japan that they had to postpone the goddamn ending until, when is this airing? April of this year. So, damn, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was that bad. It just wasn't that good. It got a 6 from me. So, it was decent enough. Alright, Megalobox. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this, because you're seeing that fucking 5 right there, and you're like, what? How dare you? Megalobox is not interesting. There's nothing interesting about Megalobox. There's nothing noteworthy about Megalobox. The most noteworthy thing about Megalobox is they shit its own resolution down to make it look older. But here's the problem. None of the characters are interesting. You don't know anything about fucking Joe. You can say it's an underdog story as much as you want, but I'm not rooting for a character I don't have any reason to root for other than he's an underdog. And furthermore, in a fucking show about robot boxing, he is an insult to the sport of robot boxing because he's not boxing like a fucking robot. And people could say, oh, that's what makes him cool. He's not using that artificial shit the other characters are. But no, that's what makes him a fucking asshole. Because if you're like a football player and everyone's wearing goddamn helmets and you're that one dickhead that's like, I don't need a fucking helmet, I'll take the brain damage, fuck you. Wear your fucking helmet, play the sport right, and if you can't, that's your fucking problem. Fuck Megalobox. Fuck people who like Megalobox. Fuck the fucking hype behind Megalobox. Megalobox is a fucking average piece of media that does nothing interesting. I sound drunk and I'm drinking water and I don't know why I'm acting like this. No, honestly, if you like Megalobox, I don't have any problem with you. I went a little too hard on it right there. It wasn't engaging and there wasn't anything interesting about it to me. The only thing I really was interested in is Yuri's relationship with Yukiko? Her name is Yukiko? Really? Wow, yeah, Yukiko. But that doesn't go anywhere. So, yeah, Megalobox is overrated, is what I'm going to say. I mean, it's okay. Even the action scenes aren't great. It's just I punch you. There's no tactics. I've never seen Hajime no Ippo, but I'm confident that if you want to watch a better boxing story, you should probably just go watch Hajime no Ippo, because I know for a fact that the guy who does Hajime no Ippo at the very least studies boxing and has understandings about boxing. Or better yet, if you want to watch an underdog story where an underdog fucking boxes someone that they're way outclassed by, go watch the movie Rocky, starring Hajime Ippo, thumbs up. Yeah, just go watch fucking Rocky. Just go watch Rocky. What? Don't watch Megalobox, watch Rocky. Rocky's a good fucking movie. Go watch Rocky's 1 through 4. Maybe the others too. I haven't seen past 4. An embarrassing phrase or anime I'm ashamed to say I once liked. Hold on one second. Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, go watch Rocky with starring Sylvester Stallone. It's a legitimately good movie. It does basically everything Megalodox does, but like a million times better. I'm gonna mute for 1 second, and it's for your benefit. Trust me. Okay, I've unmuted. Um, yeah, a thing I used to like that I don't like anymore. I honestly, I don't know. I actually went out of my way and I rated every single fucking thing on my Mal. So I proudly wear my ratings on my sleeve here. Um, so I don't know if there's anything that's like specifically shameful. You had a grimdark phase in like middle school? Yeah. Uh yeah, I don't know anything that's like particularly shameful that I'd be like, "Oh, I liked that at one point." Cuz like a lot of old things that I liked at one point, uh I would still be willing to defend like to this day. Like I'll still defend Naruto, for example. Um hmm. Yeah, I don't know if any of this is really noteworthy. Usually I don't really feel shame. Oh, yeah, I really. Here's a shameful phrase in most people's eyes. I fucking loved Glasslip. There you go. I gave Glasslip a 9 out of 10. So there you go. There's your shameful phrase from me. Oh, yeah, and good morning. I'm a big Kanye West fan. And I don't care. And Kanye West's song "Good Morning" is listed as an anime on Mal because it was made by a Japanese animation studio, and because I don't give a fuck about anyone who makes anime, I have Kanye West listed as one of my favorite people who make anime. there there you go. That was mean score. Yeah, mean score is 6.26. It drops every single week, by the way. It is in a downward plummet. By the way, Rec is really adorable and it's not porn, so if you have like 10 minutes, I recommend reading Rec. If it wasn't overly violent and dark, despite your childhood basically being Naruto, Avatar, Last Airbender, and Sailor Moon, all good shows. Okay, yeah, that was Megalobox. um. Oh yeah. Um. Mahoyo and Ryuji's Bureau of Supernatural Investigation. Do I even have anything to say about fucking Bureau of Supernatural Investigation? Or does this 5 just perfectly describe how I feel about it? No, that 5 perfectly describes it. There you go. 5 out of 10. That's what I have to say about that. Okay. All right. The third season of Elfen Lied broke you. Okay, well, if we were shit talking Elfen Lied right here, I'm just gonna put this out here. You might, because I'm just trying to find something you might consider shameful. Elfen Lied is my third favorite anime of all time. So take that how you will, because this is in order. Oh, and my 20th favorite anime of all time is I Want to Be the World's Strongest. And yes, I mean that. Okay. Seven Deadly Sins revival of the Commandments. This is the third season of Seven Deadly Sins. It is... Honestly, it's fucking 24 episodes, and they don't get anything fucking accomplished at any goddamn point, and it's just long and drawn out and, like, utterly uninteresting. And they introduce power levels. Why are you introducing power levels? Power levels are stupid. Fucking Dragon Ball Z introduced power levels and dropped it in, like, one arc. One Piece introduced it in power levels and dropped it literally the next scene. Like, One Piece is the best-selling manga of all time. You know, people should look at what fucking... at One Piece and be like, look, if it didn't work for One Piece, it's not gonna work for me. Because if One Piece couldn't make it work, you can't make it work. I don't know why they have power levels. It's stupid. It's not gonna do anything. Stop it. You went exclusively to slice of life and romance? See, romance comedy is my main genre, which is why I think 2018 is such a terrible fucking year. So yeah, this is just like long and drawn out, and even this show doesn't make any fucking sense. Because, all of the, like, main villains have, like, a power level of, like, 50,000, and Merlin has a power level of, like, 500, and she fucking one-shots them. So why do you have them? Over 8,000? Yeah. And someone told Hawk that her fucking power level is, like, on par with the Seven Deadly Sins. Sorry. I was corrected by that when I made a Wadawa on this. And it is just obnoxious from that point on, because Hawk becomes to believe that he can beat literally anything, and it just irritates the shit out of me. And Gowther is still best boy, and he's fucking cool. And then Bond gets to meet Elaine, and they're fucking adorable, because Bond and Elaine's romance is cute as shit, but everything else that's going on is utterly uninteresting in every way. So, there we go. It's that show I saw one season of and never had any drive to watch. Yeah, you can pretty much stop. Season 1 was better. So, there we go. Netju Susume? Oh, no. That was last year. Okay. The Scales of Nilon Mirari, The Mysterious Story of Teto, is about evil books that cause people to kill themselves / others. And you think that sounds really cool, but it's not. Because although the plot is interesting, what this is really is this is an adaptation of an Otoma game designed for women to date various men and find one that's like, oh, that's my man. Oh, I'm super into him. I'm into the bad boy tsundere, or what have you. And because of that, every episode, they have an episode dedicated to all of the guys. And, some of the guys are cool. Some of the guys are fucking terrible, and I hate them. And it's when you have to deal with an entire episode, and then some of them are just utterly unremarkable in every way. I like the main girl, though. She's fucking cute as shit. And the opening, the actual opening, where they have, this little dance and she, swaps through dresses is fucking cute. And while we're just fucking spoiling the shit out of this is amazing right here. I don't remember who the character is, but one of the main villains reveals that he's one of the guy's fathers. They straight up are like, I am your father. And he's like, no, that's impossible. And Princess Leia is your sister. No. It's so fucking garbage. Twilight is a bunch of shit, but Diabolic Lovers is a guilty pleasure. See, I've read all 4 Twilight books, and I feel like Twilight is underrated. And by underrated, I mean it's okay. It's like a 5 out of 10. It had some good ideas, but its execution was flawed. All right, Overlord Season 3 is a lot like Nanatsu no Taizai, and it had a lot of the same issues. This is a continuation of Overlord. Ainz is a fucking middle-aged salaryman from another goddamn universe, and he gets ported into a video game. And it's all set up, and there's no, like, real payoff until the end, and even that's not particularly interesting. There's also a, like, brutal scene that left, like, a sour taste in my mouth, where Ainz just, like, murders a, like, poor group of adventurers for no reason. In fact, it's really similar to the first episode of Goblin Slayer, except for they actually went through the purpose of making you care about the characters before they horribly murdered them. So, that is also better than Goblin Slayer. So, you want to watch a better version of Goblin Slayer, watch Overlord Season 3. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, I forgot I watched this. Wait, is that this year? Yeah, that was this year. Oh my god, that was fall. I forgot I watched this, and this was a fall show? Oh, that's never a good sign. Alright, Release the Spice is about a bunch of ladies doing drugs to spy on people. Now, nothing about this is noteworthy or interesting, except for 2 scenes. So I'm about to spoil this, but that's okay, because no one should watch this. Anyway, except for these 2 scenes. There's a fucking scene where they find out that, like, 3 scenes. You know, this one isn't terrible, actually. You could watch this. Release the Spice. Maybe I gave you too hard of a time. Okay, so there's one fucking scene where one of the main characters, like this rich girl, and she made friends with this, like poor homeless girl at one point, and they became friends, and then they both get kidnapped, and they ransom them off. Don't know when the fuck that new movie, 2nd season of Saga of Tanya the Evil. We can look it up right now. I believe they're making a movie and another season. No. The plot is dumb as fuck. You weren't wrong about that. It's just surprisingly well adapted. No. But it's made by Nut. And I just need to point that out to everyone. Interestingly, this girl's name right here is Mary Sue. So have fun with that. Yeah, okay, so basically the girls do fucking drugs and do spy shit. But there is a scene where so the rich girl and, like, this homeless girl get kidnapped, and then the parents buy the ransom, and she's like, we're gonna buy you, but then she ends up getting out, and so they never meet each other again, and then the homeless girl gets picked up as an enemy spy, and so they're sitting down with each other, and the main, like, the rich girl, who's now a spy, and the the homeless girl became the enemy spy, and she's talking to her, and she's like, by the way, I know you're an enemy spy, and the homeless girl's like, I'm sorry, what? You're just saying that? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm a spy, and we're opposite spies, and let me tell you this little bit about our operation and how we're going to take you down. And the homeless girl is like, why are you telling me all this? And she's like, I want us to be friends, and I want you to join our spy organization. And the homeless girl is like, you think I'm just going to fall for that? And it's just like, no way am I joining you. And then the rich girl's like, well, that sucks, because I'm a poison specialist, and I poisoned your tea. And, oh my god, this scene is so fucking awesome. And the homeless girl's like, what? And then she, like, goes limp because she, like, got paralyzed by, like, the tea. And the rich girl's like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. You're either gonna change your mind, or I'm just gonna keep you forever paralyzed. Because I'm not gonna let you go back to the enemy team, and I'm just gonna keep you around because we're friends. And it's like, I didn't do that scene justice. Like, if you can find that scene on, like, YouTube or something, you've got to watch it. It's fucking awesome and crazy. And then there's this fucking other scene. I'm spoiling Release the Spice because it's not worth watching except for these 3 bits of information. Where this girl right here, like, as you go throughout the entire, like, show, you find that like they're being outmaneuvered. And it's like, God, how do they keep outmaneuvering this? Become a spy or become my doll friendo. Yeah, exactly. It's great. And then they're going through, like, and they get, like, cornered by, like, the enemy. And it's like, oh shit, we get cornered by the enemy. We're gonna have to make our final stand. And this girl right here, like, pulls out, like, a gun and just starts shooting her own allies. And you find out she's been, like, a spy. She's been, like, a double agent the whole time. And you're like, oh, are you fucking kidding? And she kills the main character's mentor and just drops her into a fucking river. And then she kidnaps, like, she kills all of the mentors. And she, like kidnaps the, like, 3 rookies. And is like, okay, so we're either gonna kill you or fucking mind control your ass. Welcome to the bad guy side. And they're like, why are you doing this? And like one of these girls is like her like apprentice, and like she's like, why are you doing this, like, sensei? And she's like, let me tell you why I'm doing this. Because I don't like to be tied down, and I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want. And in like this spy organization, you either get like your memories erased, or you have to, like, stick with the spy organization for the rest of your life, and she ain't about that life. So she's like, yeah, no, that's not happening. You're not erasing my memories. And she's, like, getting ready to, like, age up. And she's like, so I became a bad guy! Ha-ha! And you're like, yo, what? And so she becomes, like, a central antagonist at that point. And it's... So what, are you a triple agent Indiana Jones? By the way, Crystal Skull is a good movie. Fuck you. I've never seen Crystal Skull, actually. But I'm glad you bring it up, because it's revealed at the end that she's a triple agent, and she was actually pretending to be an enemy spy double agent the whole time, so that they could get the spies inside of the enemy base. It's like, what? It's crazy. It's a crazy fucking plot twist. And I'm like, oh shit. And then at the end, you find out that the teacher's still alive, but the teacher's also about to age up. And so the final, like, one of the final shots of the fucking show is, like, the main character has to take, like, the memory eraser gun. It's, like, in the form of a gun, so it's, like, extra symbolic. And her, like, mentor, like, takes her out to, like, the beach, and they, like, sit there. And, like, the main character has to, like, shoot her fucking mentor in the head because she's retiring as a spy. And it's, like, incredibly, like, heartfelt and emotional. It's, like, one of the best scenes in this fucking show. And then at the end, you see the main character, and she's taken on Apprentice, and they, like, pass her old mentor in the street. Those 3 scenes are, like, really noteworthy, but otherwise, Release the Spice isn't great. I know I just spoke really impassionate about them. Not a good show, but those 3 scenes are fucking hype. Oh, God. Fuck. Rewrited. Oh... Do I have to talk about this? Do I have to? I don't know if I remember enough about it to tell you why this is terrible. This is the show. This is the show. I remember what this is. This is the show where you can go back time by wanting to go back in time really badly. But you can't actually change anything. And, like, you find out at the end that the whole show is actually being caused by a different character going back in time. Holy shit. I forgot about this nonsense. Yeah, this had, like, the skeleton of an interesting story, and it wasn't an interesting story. So there you go, rewrited. Wasn't that on the honorable mention list? Yeah, so I'm not talking about that. Okay, Review Starlight. Oh god, Review Starlight was fucking terrible. Alright, we're gonna talk about the good things about Review Starlight, I guess. Good things about Review Starlight is that the stage battle scenes are fucking hype. And that's the good things about Review Starlight. There's a fucking magic wish-granting giraffe that they never explain. It's just there. They use the stage combat scenes to explore the relationships between characters, which sounds good, but the problem is that the characters, their relationships, and their struggles aren't particularly interesting, so it doesn't matter that they do this, and nobody cares. And they set up a really good protagonist. Pff, no, they don't. Really good antagonist in the form of Banana. In the form of Dai Banana. And Dai Banana is basically Hamura from Madoka Magica. She has repeated the same year and defeated all of the other girls in combat so many times that no one, like, that her and the wish-granting giraffe have legitimately forgotten the number of times that she has kicked everyone's fucking ass. So no DeLorean special leaps or even just straight up time machine from the movie The Time Machine. Just, I want to go back. Pop. Exactly. It's like, I assume you've seen Steins Gate. You know the machine that lets you, like, transfer your, like, consciousness back into your past self? It's like that, but you can only do it for, like, a moment. And also you can't change anything. But you've played Steins Gate, then you know exactly what machine I'm talking about. Yeah, so Dai Banana set up as like this fucking cool-ass villain who's kicked everyone's ass. No one can beat her. Her and the giraffe are like, man, I legitimately don't know how many times you've repeated the same fucking year. She's basically Hamura. And then they beat her next episode, and they just kick it down the drain. And so all of the setup they do with Banana is just wasted. So, yeah, Review Starlight, fucking terrible, actually. I'm disappointed. But the fights, if you can find, like, a compilation of just the fights of Review Starlight, absolutely worth watching them, because they are fucking gorgeous, and they look fucking cool. Who did this, actually? Kinema Citrus. What did you do? Oh, you made Made in Abyss, Barakuman. Okay. Code Breaker is terrible, and I hate it. And, fuck you, Code Breaker. Yeah, they made a bunch of shit I've never seen. Yeah, the fights are actually fucking gorgeous. So, just good job, I guess, is what I have to say about that. Just good job in general. Oh, I missed Attack on Titan Season 3, it looks like. I don't have anything to say about Attack on Titan Season 3. I really don't. There's nothing interesting about it. I think they're making a new season of Attack on Titan. Yeah, oh no, they're making a new cour. And I'm not even going to watch it. Because I just don't care anymore. Like, I had mixed feelings about... like, the previous seasons of Attack on Titan. Like, I preferred Season 1 because I really liked the, like, military angle, but it's just, like, lessened the military angle each subsequent season, and since it's really all I care about, and I realized I hate almost all of the characters. There are 3 characters I care about in all of Attack on Titan. It is Sasha Braun, Potato Girl, Erwin Smith, I think. Yeah, Erwin Smith. I like Erwin Smith because of that scene at the end of, like, Season 2, where he leads Titans into another group of Titans, and he's like, we're going into that! And everyone's like, are you fucking serious? He's like, follow me to hell! And I'm like, this dude's fucking cool. We realize about 16 volumes in that it's not going anywhere. Isn't Attack on Titan... Is it fucking Shonen Jump? Because that's probably why it's not going anywhere. Oh, no, it's Betsu Shonen Magazine. No idea. But yeah, let's see. Praxis, I think. General Praxis, he's cool. I like General Praxis. And after this season, I came to like Krista. I think Krista's pretty cool. But only after this season. She fucking slaps the main character. What's his name? I don't even know anymore. Levi. I like how Levi has surpassed Eren. Yeah, she slaps Eren and she's like, Eren, get your fucking shit together and let's do this. So she's pretty cool. So I guess it added to a new character I like in the show, but overall, there's nothing to grab onto Attack on Titan because none of the characters are interesting and I hate almost everyone except for those 4 characters. So, and none of those characters show up enough to justify watching the show any more than I have already watched it. Aaron's a bitch, though? Agreed. You know who else agrees? Krista, which is why Krista's the fucking coolest. And apparently she's one of Japan's top 10 waifus. We're going to go off on a little tangent. I just want to know who's the top 10 fucking waifus in Japan on a Twitter poll. Okay, Krista, fair. Rem, it sucks. I'm going off on a limb. I'm going to say it right now. Fuck Rem, all about Emilia. I get it. I get why he's about Emilia. Fuck Rem. And Asuna. Well, that's just wrong. That's just a wrong decision you've made there. Asuna does not deserve first place. Asuna is not even the best girl in that fucking show. You know who's the best fucking girl in that show? Me either. Because I don't remember her real name. Yeah, here we go. Lisbeth. Lisbeth is best girl. Yep, first place apparently went to Asuna. Let's see, 10th place, Hanyo Koizumi, Love Live School Idol Project, Yue from K-On!, Kyoko Otonashi from whatever the fuck this is. Oh, this is this looks like Takashi Rumiko. Yeah, Takashi Rumiko. Okay. Tsubasa from Bakemonogatari. Well, that's just wrong. Tsubasa. Get the fuck out of here. Chio Sakura from Monthly Girls Nozuki-kun. Okay, you know what? Fair. She's pretty great. Iru from Hyoka. Megumi from Saikano. Yeah, she's great. Krista, Rem, Asuna. Alright, that's enough of that. What is this Twitter poll on? Popular Japanese anime website, animeanime.jp. What do you know? Alright. There's your top 10 girls from Japan. Anyway, yeah, Season 3 is what made me quit Attack on Titan, basically. Okay, the night when me and my boss spent the night in a capsule hotel after the last train and he passed his fever to me. Yeah, wow, this fucking show right here. First off, this is not marked as porn. It's marked as R+ with mild nudity. This is porn. This is just straight up porn. Like, there's penetration and everything. Like, this is just fucking porn. Let me be clear about that. Let me also be clear about that. This scene right here, pictured in the thumbnail, is him fucking raping her. Like, she's like, no, stop. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna get it. And I'm like, oh, God, yeah. You know, I get you. I really liked the first 9 episodes, and then I thought it went significantly downhill after that. Yeah, so he just fucking rapes her, and then, and here's what fucking irritates me, because it's one of those shows, because there's another guy in this, yeah, Kei Sugiwara, who's like this like foreign model man, and he like tries to date her, and here's where my fucking issue is like, he's like this like cool guy, you know, he's kind of nice, and then she's like, you know what, I can't date you. Because I'm really into my boss who makes me have sex in public with him and forces himself on me and gives me his fever all the time. And I'm like, girl, Jesus Christ, get a better taste in men. He sucks. Like, he takes her aside at one point in the show and just like fucks her in an alley. It's deeply, deeply uncomfortable. And who made this? Who fucking made this? I'm gonna shame this person. I don't know who made this. I don't know who made this, but it's targeted towards older women, and it's just further proof that I legitimately don't understand women's taste in guys. Like, I don't get it. I mean, I wouldn't be into it in that position, is what I'm saying. I don't know. Slow start. Okay, slow start. Main character gets really sick and she ends up missing her entrance exams, and so she's like a year behind, and she doesn't want anyone to find out because she's super embarrassed about it. But as she begins to like, you're a woman and you don't fucking understand that. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one deeply confused by this. And as she begins to make other friends, she begins to like try and open up to them, and it's cute and it's nice and all. Not really a lot to talk about. It's just like cute little comedy series, slice of life shit. I don't know. Not bad, not great. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's talk about Between the Sky and the Sea. Ooh, all right. So there's fucking space fishing. Longtime viewers of the channel will know that I have this fishing thing where I'm all about fishing. So when I found out about space fishing, I'm like, anime about space fishing? Fuck yeah, I'm into an anime about space fishing. Well, guess what? This isn't about space fishing. You enjoyed Wolf Girl and Black Prince and Trouble Boy who treats his girl like a dog, literally. Well then. Anyway, space fishing has only been available to men until now, where we have the first group of female space fishermen ever. And this is supposed to be, from what I've heard, a political statement because for the first time ever, women are being allowed to be fighter pilots in Japan. And I think the overall message is supposed to be like a pro-feminist kind of like women can be fighter pilots too, cool your shit kind of thing. Here's the thing though, is that I'm all about like empowering women, and I agree that women can be fighter pilots. And in a universe with space fishing, I believe that it would be totally okay for women to be space fishermen too. Here's my issue with this show. These characters right here, I don't believe they can be space fishermen, and I don't think they should be space fishermen. And what's worrying is that they phrase this as like, these are the best female space fishermen in the world. And I hate to say it, but if these are the best female space fishermen in the world, maybe close the door to women for like 5 years and open it back up when we have people that don't break things immediately. They break a fucking spaceship in episode 1. They are so terrible and incompetent. And it's what pisses me off about this show is it's supposed to be like empowering and like pro-feminist. And when you make the main cast the most incompetent group of fucking losers that should never be put in charge of literal spaceships and then set the spaceships in space, you have fucked up, because at that point you are literally hurting your cause. This show is terrible. And for a show that's supposed to be about space fishing, and boy did I want this to be about space fishing, it ends up just being a cute girls do cute things fucking show where they like, we're going to a beach. Oh, look at us. We're so pretty. It's fucking terrible. It's garbage. It can go fuck itself. Fuck this show. I just want to see people space fishing. And it has such a great plot, too, because it makes no fucking sense. Because there's just these fucking... all of the fish on Earth die, and so because Japan really wants to fucking eat fish, it goes to space to fish into space. It has so much potential, and it's just terrible, because it, like, tries to make a political message, and then it makes a really bad political message. Like, ugh. Okay. Is that... That was 2018? Oh, yeah, of course it was 2018. It was like everyone's favorite anime from 2018 but mine. You know what else was fake woke? P5. Look, I actually don't give a fuck about wokeness. I'm just saying that, like, if you're gonna make a political message, don't fuck up your own message. Alright, Plays Further Than a Universe is about a group of high school girls that are trying to go to Antarctica. Overall, it's a pretty good show. A lot of people's favorite anime of 2018. I can't really fault them for that. And it's as much about... Here's the thing. They get to, like, Antarctica in, like, episode 10 or so. Use woke, ironically. Fair enough. I don't know. You get to, like, Antarctica at, like, episode 10, and I think that was too early. too early, to be honest. Like Place Further Than the Universe is a show where I feel like the journey is the main idea behind it, and then when they get there, it's just like they fuck around in Antarctica and do Antarctica stuff for like 5 episodes. I get people who appreciate it, but overall, it was just it was good. It just wasn't great for me, is what I'm saying. But yeah, not bad. Would be worth a watch. The character relationships and the dynamics behind that were pretty interesting, and I appreciate the main character's best friend having her own arc, even though she was only in like the first episode. So pretty good. Pretty good. You know what wasn't pretty good? Fucking SSS Gridman. Fucking SSS Gridman. What do I say about this? Well, apparently this is a fucking sequel to like a tokusatsu series from like the 90s, which I've never watched. So part of it might be that I just didn't care. But also I'm going to say just because the main girl has thick thighs doesn't make the story good. I do find the idea that the main villain, however, is just like a bored fucking schoolgirl that's like just the god of her universe. And she's just fucking around. And I think the ideas presented in the show could be interesting enough. I just don't like, it's this like heavy monster of the week formula where it's like, here's a giant monster, fight the giant monster. Here's another giant monster, fight the other giant monster. Who cares? Fucking story over. Like, there's just not... I say this a lot because it's a major issue with a lot of 2018 anime and a lot of media in general, is just like there's nothing to grab onto with it. And it's Gridman's a thing. I don't know why people fucking splooshed all over it, to be honest. Okay, Steins Gate Zero. Oh gosh, Steins Gate. Now we gotta... Okay, actually we're getting near the end, so that's good. That's good. Alright. Steins Gate Zero is the... First off, I didn't want to watch this. Can I just say that? Steins Gate's one of my favorite anime of all time, and I didn't fucking want to watch this at all. I didn't think this needed to be made. I don't know why they made it. This is about the timeline that was required to be thrown out in order for someone to build a time machine in order for him to go back in the final time jump. And we already knew what happened in that timeline, I thought, which is that he didn't have a time machine, so he couldn't go back, so the whole world turns into a time machine apocalypse, and then he sends his time machine back so that the main character could time machine to a different time. You're gonna mute? That's fine. We probably won't be talking about this for so long. Rewatching the first 8 episodes of Sailor Moon, you see how funny the monster of the week is. Yes, ma'am, I may have failed to capture human souls 8 times already, but I'm not succeeding. So, probably because it's a game too. I hear the game is good. Yes, the game sucked too. I heard the game is good, but the problem is they tried to shove every single timeline in the game into one timeline of the anime, and that's why it sucked. And maybe that's why it sucked. Maybe the game is terrible too. I didn't think that Steins Gate Zero warranted a fucking anime. And like, here's the thing. Like, there is a sequel to Steins Gate. It's called Robotics Notes, and it's pretty good. It's not as good as Steins Gate, but it's pretty damn good. Just watch Robotics Notes, is what I'm saying. But yeah, and here's how they fucking ruin it the hardest, is that, like, Rentaro is his name, right? Yeah, Rentaro goes into, like, when he's in this other timeline, he ends up, like, going into a coma, and then he wakes up into the future, so we don't even get to see the time war happen. And it's like, the only reason you could warrant a Steins Gate Zero and justify this is if we get to see the fucking time war, and we don't get to see the time war. So why did you make this? He wakes up after the time war? Are you fucking serious? And then he time jumps backward, even though that's not how time jumps work. Like, it specifically said you can't go back, like, further than a week because your brain would be too different. And then he just like, what if I go back a week every single time? Like 1,000 times. And it's like, what? No, what? But then you have the brainwaves from like 1 week in the future. Also, wait a minute. Wait a minute, now that I'm thinking about it, if the issue with not being able to go back further than a week is because your brainwaves are too fucking different, and he woke up from a fucking coma, wouldn't his brainwaves have been exactly the same from when he woke up? Like, 1 week ago for him would have been, like, before the Time War began, so why couldn't he just warp his brain back before the Time War? Because his brainwaves wouldn't have changed when he was in the coma. Anyway. Yeah, the only fucking noteworthy thing about this is they add in a new character called Maho, and I fucking love her, and that's the only thing I care about in Steins Gate Zero. Everything else is fucking trash. But, on the other hand, it didn't sour my love of the original Steins Gate or Robotics Notes. So, you know, whatever. I mean, it's just the stupidest fucking timeline ever. It's easy enough to ignore. And I think that's why I'm okay with it. There we go. Steins Gate Zero. Oh, yeah. All right. Takabon Chronicle. By Creators and Pack. So it's short. 3 minutes episodes. It's Shoujo Ai. It says it's not. I don't think. I don't remember it being Shoujo Ai at all. I don't think it is. I think that's a lie. I think that's a bold-faced lie. Yeah, stuff happens in this. This is an anime. It's 12 episodes. Five out of 10. Okay, what was after that? Apparently I don't have anything to say about that. You got spoiled with Mute? How was that even possible? I'm sorry, Woohoo broke back. How was that even possible? How did she get spoiled with Mute on? All you had to do was, like, wait for me to change the image from reading. Of course, why were you reading? That one's on you. Tekunomi is about a bunch of college girls getting drunk. That's about it. It's okay. Pretty decent. Oh, and one of the girls I think is a bartender and explains what alcohol to pair with what food and, you know, what to drink when. So, yeah, not bad. One of those, like, educational drinking anime. I've never been super into drinking, but it's cute enough. So there you go. Tekunomi. Oh, Re! How can I try your eyes to not read something? You just look off to the side. Or, like, cover it with your hand. Okay, Tokyo Ghoul Re. So I actually watched the original... Here's my history with Tokyo Ghoul. I watched the original Tokyo Ghoul, and I liked it. And then I watched Tokyo Ghoul Route A, and I thought it was a piece of shit. And then I was like, wow, that's a piece of shit. But then I heard that Route A is like went off in its own. So then I read the original Tokyo Ghoul. And I'm like, oh, wow, that was really good. Yeah, that was really good. I'm surprised. And Tokyo Ghoul, the manga is completely different, especially from Route A onward. It's still there. Even I look up the other thing, you come back, you still see. I mean, it's gone now. So that's the plus side. I don't know what it spoiled, but I'm not going back to see, just so you can't, like, burn it into your brain anymore. So yeah, Tokyo Ghoul was pretty good. But Route A went in its own direction, and I don't even think Route A is canon to Tokyo Ghoul Re. I think they just ignored it, so I don't know why Route A exists anymore. But it's fine, don't read it. There's no way to enjoy Re, I don't think, at all, because it does like 10 chapters per episode. Like, it just flies through the story. And it does it by, like, cutting around things. Like, the pacing itself feels fine, but it leaves out a lot of depth. So it's definitely one of those things where it's like, just read the manga, to be honest, if you want to continue the story of Tokyo Ghoul, is what I'd suggest. It worked great for me, but I had read, like, 40 chapters of the original manga. And I would say that Tokyo Ghoul Re is perfect for someone who has read as much Tokyo Ghoul as me, but not any less, because then you won't know what the fuck is happening, and not any more, because then you'll have already experienced it in a superior format. It's not your fault, but then you act like it's your fault. I don't act like it's your fault. I'm sorry, Woohoo Brokeback. You don't gotta be mad. Love the mangas, volume 1 through 7, and then 8 and 9, you fucking hate and dropped the series. Been meaning to come back, but you heard it got better. I don't remember what happens in 8 and 9, if I'm being honest. How much of this I read 34 chapters. How much did this... I don't remember what happens in 8 and 9, if I'm being honest. So, anyway. Yeah, okay. Tokyo Ghoul... second season, second verse, same as the first. Kaneki gets fucking Toka pregnant. That's pretty great. Yeah, I assumed you meant the original. And they have a kid, and that's all I gotta say about that. It's pretty good, pretty good. All right, Tomy is based on the works of Junji Ito, who apparently has like slapped the story of the character of Tomy across. Yeah, they fucking have a kid. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Apparently slapped this character of Tomy across like a million different stories. From what I can basically tell from like research. Yeah, by the way, they fuck. Like, they show it. Tomy apparently got, like, cursed by a jewel, and now she regenerates. Oh, it's a great manga. Yeah, I actually, like, this is only, like, 2 episodes, and I actually kind of want to read the manga just because I watched this, and I'm like, man, that's pretty interesting. And like now people want to murder her for some reason. I don't know, but like any part of her that's like cut off regenerates into a new Tomy, so you can have like multiple Tomys at once. It's fucking crazy. And yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna probably read this at some point. Yeah, I'm down. Tomy's cool. Tomy was a cool little story. Jewel, is it a jewel? I only say jewel because that's what it said for the live action movie adaptations. Was that she got cursed by some jewel. I don't know what it actually is. So, you said if you read the manga, you probably know better. That's what they did for the movie. All right. Miss Vampire Who Lives in My Neighborhood. This girl has the most laissez-faire parents ever, and she tells her parents, hey, I want to move in with this vampire that saved me in the woods when I got lost in the woods. And her parents are like, sure, whatever. And then she moves in with her, and then this girl is friends with this other vampire girl who's been asleep for 100 years, and she's like, man, I thought you were fucking dead. And she's like, nah, I wasn't dead, I was just asleep. And she's like, what? And then they just fuck around. It's just cute. The girls do cute things. That's it. You just fuck around with a vampire girl. I don't know. Don't know what to say about it. Cute enough. Alright. Maybe you don't remember, but in the manga, her classmates hate her for being a pretty girl, so they accidentally push her off a cliff and decide, fucking gotta finish the job. That's how episode 1 girl goes, but Tomy can, like, regenerate. And I think, and it's like, in the movies, she gets the regeneration power by being cursed by a jewel. So. They don't explain why she has her regeneration powers in the OVA. Okay, we rent Tsukugami. Changes what the fuck a Tsukugami is, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. Basically, it's an object with a soul in this because the owner loved it, which isn't what it is in like traditional Japanese folklore, but it doesn't care, and I don't care, I guess. And like they solve mysteries by lending out objects, and then you find out about the people around them. It's okay. I don't remember anything particularly interesting. Oh, you know what I do remember about this is that this girl goes through this like whole fucking arc because she's trying to like make up money to like marry this rich guy, and then at the end she's like, I don't want to marry the rich guy. And I'm like, all right. Kind of feel like the whole story was for nothing, but sure. And then she's like, no, I'm gonna get together with this guy. And I'm like, all right, I guess that's fair. I guess, sure. Kind of feel like the whole story is for nothing. None of this matters. But, actually, so that's my summary of Tsukigami. None of it mattered. End of story. All right. Oh, yes. Uzumade. Uzumade is about... Uzumade's fucking creepy. Uzumade is about this fucking maid who sees this blonde loli girl, and she's really into blonde lolis, and so she goes out of her way to seduce this blonde loli girl, including, like, stalking her and getting a job as this girl's maid, and the blonde loli is doing all of she can to get this fucking maid fired, and the maid is, like, an soldier. It's crazy. And then this girl has a thing for this maid girl. Oh, shit. What is this? Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I can read that, no problem. But, yeah, and then, like, this maid is another ex-soldier who has a thing for her because they were in the military together, and so she's trying to seduce her while she's trying to seduce the little girl, and the little girl is trying to get her fired. This ran from, like, 87 to 99. Yeah. It's like this whole fucking thing. It has its funny moments, and everyone is fucking crazy in this whole show. They're all fucking lunatics, except for her, who is somehow the sanest character, and, like, the only dependable adult, even though she's an insane cosplaying monster. So, yeah. Uzumade. It's okay. Alright. Alright. Fucking Battleship Tiramisu. I got recommended this by a viewer, and it's okay. It's like this short, like, mech parody, but I'm not into mech. And so I guess a lot of the jokes didn't land. Or, I mean, it has an average score of like 640, so maybe it's just fucking bad. I don't know. But yeah, that's Tiramisu. Like, he's like this like genius young pilot, and then he's got like an older brother. It's okay. You know, nothing to really write home about. Man, Woohoo Brokeback got really mad. I don't even think I said anything, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe I was being a dick or something. Alright. Ulysses. Look, Ulysses sucks. And at one point they break, like, the Philosopher's Stone and God comes out of space or some shit. And they change famous historical figures into women. And there's a lot of issues with this. But the issue I find the biggest is that they take... The main character is basically Giles de Reyes. Famous pedophile child murderer. And confidant to... the Maid of Orleans. Joan of Arc. That took me way too far. I remember Maid of Orleans, but I can't remember Joan of Arc for some fucking reason. Anyway, famous fucking like child murderer Giles de Reyes and confidant to Joan of Arc, and then they put him in a setting where they made Joan of Arc a loli. And somehow they thought this was going to work out and not turn fucking creepy. And they didn't do it. Conqueror of Shambhala is a really shitty movie and somehow worse than the ending of 2003. You know what? Didn't watch it. Yeah, it's just... Also, I don't understand why she's wearing this. Like, the real Joan of Arc wore full plate armor, mostly because of the interlocking metal made it basically impossible to take her fucking clothes off. And she did it so she wouldn't be raped. Compare this to lowly Joan of Arc right here. And, you know, I'm not saying anything, but she's not wearing clothing. Like... And I'm not super, like, you don't need to be incredibly historical accurate. It's just, like, everything about this is just not good. It fails at every level about everything, and I'm not into that. At least exceed somewhere, is what I'm saying. The villain is a Nazi named Eckhart or something. who was a Nazi and a guy, and now they're a lady. Okay. Oh, they're like a lady in the movie, but they're like they were like a guy in real life. Is that what you're saying? All right. Ume Masume Pretty Derby. This is about horse girls racing. And a lot of, like, a big portion of this is, like, the main character is trying to, like, win a triple crown. And then I don't even know if she does or not. Like, I think she fails immediately, and then they just throw that idea out. It's really unfocused. And then, like, she tries to, like, her hardest to beat, like, a really, like, powerful, like, American runner, and then she finally does, and then she, like, loses, like, the next 30 races, and at the end everyone comes into, like, a million and three way tie. It's just on, like, it's cute, and it's, like, interesting to see how they, like, shift up tactics, but it's just, like, cute girls do horse things, but also they're horses. I don't know. Also, oh, they made Hughes a Gestapo. Oh, that kind of sucks. Hughes is a cool character. Okay. Oh no, that's fall 2017. Cool. I still don't have to talk about this. All right. Violet Evergarden, like episode like 3.4, 4.5 or something. This is one of the best episodes of Violet Evergarden. Not like the best episode, but one of the best episodes, and I will talk more about Violet Evergarden when I talk about Violet Evergarden. All right. So, Waku Okami. Mace Hughes is a Nazi in that movie. Yeah. Wow, that's unfortunate. Waku Okami is an anime based on like a children's book series about a young girl who ends up trying to take over for her grandma as an innkeeper, and she meets a bunch of ghost children. And they like so shockingly actually address the fact that there are ghost children and talk about how the kids die and shit. And like the main like boy here was like an old childhood friend of the main girl's grandfather. It's like surprisingly heartfelt. And it, despite being like, I think it's really short, yeah, like 12-minute episodes and like made for kids, they actually have like several episodes dedicated to like specific character arcs that I think are based on individual novels. So for a kid show, it's actually like shockingly good and well done. But as because like several episodes are clearly based on certain books, some like arcs are better than other arcs. And that's where the like real flaws come from. Nobody fucking watched this. That's why it has such a low rating. I have been trying to make it through this fucking list without pausing. That is impossible. I will be right back. Alright, I am back. Let's see. Wonder what our malcompatibility is. Best guess 16%. Not saying that because the card you're holding says 16. Let's see. I have 12.9. 12.9. Okay. Alright. Love is hard for otaku. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, this show's amazing. This is like an adult romance. First off, I'm going to say this again. Realism doesn't make something good. And the main cast has no fucking romantic chemistry. They don't even seem to be into each other. It's just more like, it's like, well, we're fucking single, let's just date. And they're like, yeah, whatever. You know, like, there's nothing to it. And, like, you can say realism all you want. It doesn't fucking... The point of a romance is to get you invested in the main couple, and I'm not. But I don't even find that the biggest issue with this fucking show. The biggest issue is with these two fucking people right here, where they're also in a relationship, and I'm just gonna say it right now. He's emotionally abusive, and no one else seems to point this out. And there's an entire scene where she's just like breaking down in tears, and he's just like mocking her and calling her ugly. And I'm like, how the fuck does no one get fucking flack for this? And then like you look up this, you can find this scene on fucking YouTube, and then people are like, oh, relationship goals, and I'm like, what is wrong with you people? This isn't how people should act. You're all fucking terrible. This show sucks. And I'm going to put my fucking foot down and say that this isn't how healthy relationships should look. On any level. Utter indifference to, like, verbal emotional abuse should not be your relationship goal. You should be able to at least tolerate and enjoy each other's company. Don't fucking settle is what I'm saying. For at least that low. Jesus, I don't know how this show got so popular. Okay. Bloom Into You. Bloom Into You. Wow, I gave this a 7? Really? Alright, I'll trust you, me. I don't know why I gave this a 7. It does a really good job of its presentation. I think the biggest issue with Bloom Into You is the main couple. Again, they have no fucking chemistry. Which is the point of the goddamn show, to be fair. But that doesn't mean I have to agree with the point. Because this is another fucking show with the Mirai Nikki problem, where she would literally go for anyone that would just, like, not be interested in her. And there's even a character that would be even less interested in her, like Seiji. And if I think she knew that, she'd be splooshing all over Seiji. And he'd be like, please fuck off. And she'd be like, oh, Seiji, telling me to fuck off, sploosh. Like, Bloom Into You is just okay, I guess. I don't know. I gave it a 7, so I guess I liked it. And I'll trust myself at the time more than my memories of it. But it's just like, people are like, this is the best, like, romance of 2018. And it's barely a romance. Just, you know, another example of 2018 being... not great year for anime, I guess. Alright, what else do we got? Okay, yeah. Alright, here's what we got here. Yuna of the Hot Springs. This was me when we, with fucking We Were There. Yeah, it was semi-realistic, but the dude was so hung up on the fucking past that you honestly screamed the main girl, you can do better. Yes! Exactly. That's basically the problem with Love is Hard for Otaku. It's like, guys, everything about this is bad. Anyway, yeah, so surprisingly strong spiritualist ends up in a house full of yokai, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking send this girl to heaven, but like the right way, by like fulfilling her desires. But then Yuna has like amnesia or some shit. I don't know. He like punches a dragon god through a building. It has some cool moments, but overall it's kind of generic and flat, and you know how it is. Nothing to really look. It's a 2018 anime that says everything you need to. It's generic and flat. There you go. And I think that's the last one. Yeah, that is in fact the last one. So now we can get on to what we all really came here for, which is the honorable mentions and the top 10 anime, or my top 10 anime of fucking 2018. So let's start with let's start with the first one, 2018. What have I been saying? Who cares? I don't even care. 2018 wasn't worth it. Okay, Beatless is my first honorable mention. For the record, the honorable mentions are just in, like, order of alphabet. they're in alphabetical order. and not any specific order, unlike the top 10 list. Okay, so Beatless is about the future where basically there are robot androids that have surpassed humanity in all regards. And as an anime, Beatless is about what happens when AI surpasses humanity and what it means for humanity. And Beatless presents perhaps the most realistic and also the most terrifying future of an AI-controlled future, which is that the AI don't wage open war on humans in like any regard, because they don't need to, because they're so smart and they've been put in charge of so much that they just kind of control everything, and like people and like everything they do and their actions are all just controlled by these AI that, like, even though people like humans pretend that they're in control of the world, they're not, because the AI are just that much superior, like that superior. And the thing about Beatless is that all these reviews, like the 6.25, and like you read these reviews, that's right, I'm calling all these people out, I didn't fucking understand what Beatless was about. At all. They like missed the point of the show, which is to like show this like robot dystopia, and it's like a perfect dystopia because it's masquerading as a utopia, but it's not. It's fucking robot controlled nightmare where the robots are in control. And Beatless makes a point to show that like the robots are totally in control and they are designed to benefit humanity. So is what the robots are saying and doing in humanity's best interest, or is it just in their own best interest? And it's not clear, and it doesn't make a definitive stance, and I can appreciate that Beatless just doesn't make a stance on that. You know, it's up to you, and like as a human, you wouldn't know if the AI are truly doing what's best for you. So it just shows like this like realistic like future of like an AI controlled world where there's nothing you can do about it. They've already won because you already gave them the fucking keys to the kingdom, and they pretend they didn't, but they did. I mean, they just straight up did. And Beatless is specifically about the last stage, even is specifically, which I would have grouped in with the original Beatless, the last stage of the AI-controlled future, where it's like, all bets are off, the curtain rises, hey, guess what, humans? Robots won. It's over. And they don't need, like, force or a war. It's just like, we control the information in the world, and you don't. And I really appreciate the way it was portrayed. And specifically the last 4 episodes, Final Stage, which were split up from the original series, doesn't really add anything that you wouldn't have been able to figure out if you were just paying attention and understood what concepts they were talking about. It just kind of, like, wraps up the arc and gives the series a little happy ending. So Beatless was pretty good, actually. I would definitely recommend it to some people. If you go in with like an open mind and you're willing to take the investment, it's a meaty fucking show. You really gotta like sit there and like think about what the fuck they're talking about. Like, I usually like play video games or some shit when I'm watching anime. I literally can't with Beatless. Like, they just throw too much shit at me that I have to keep track of. So, good show if you're willing to invest time into it and actually think about it, but so many people seem to have missed the point. So, it's a bit of a shame. What is the next thing on the list here? Oh, okay. All right. So next honorable mention is Cutie Honey Universe, which is another series based off of Go Nagai, Cutie Honey, which is kind of the like. This was Cutie Honey as like a manga was kind of like the first magical girl warrior show, and this is supposed to be what I hear a pretty decent adaptation of the Cutie Honey manga. Overall, I just thought it was pretty interesting. We have like Cutie Honey herself, and she has like this device that can like create matter, and so the enemy group wants to get a hold of it, and it has like this like like shockingly like sexual scenes in it. Like there's one scene where like they look through a bush and two of the teachers are just fucking, and it's like, geez. It definitely wasn't the first, but it popularized it. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. I'm not saying like magical girl either, for the record. Most of the shit before that was like Sally the Witch and shit. But anyway, yeah, there's just, like they just open like a bush and like they're just fucking. And there's like a surprisingly like dark twist where like half the school gets like fucking murdered all of a sudden. So it kind of reminds me of Devilman Crybaby in that regard. But unlike Devilman Crybaby, this is about magical girls, and so I default to like it more. And also, no one in Devilman Crybaby is defeated with an elaborate dance sequence, and they are in this. And I love the idea of a villain being defeated in an elaborate dance sequence. Which is funny that most popular magical girl anime was based on a pervy manga for teen boys that girls just so happened to like in the 70s. Yeah, that's it. I mean, even now, a lot of like magical girl anime has like a really weird cast of like designed for like young girls and older men at the same time. So, yeah, Cutie Honey was just like a fun watch, honestly. I mean, some of the like, there's like two characters in this. Like, there's two characters, like, this old man and, like, the young boy are, like, outdated, like, characters. With, like, and they, like, try and add humor to the show, but it's, like, the worst part of the show. But other than that, it's just, like, a fun show. I don't know why it gets so much hate, but, you know. You're talking about the 70 one? I haven't watched it, but I want to. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. The 1973 one. I plan to watch that at some point, but I haven't yet. But, yeah, Cutie Honey. Just fun show. I liked it. Honorable mention. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm saying a lot of things I say back in Wadawa, but I guess I'm, like, condensing them into one video. So, I guess it's worth it in that regard. Okay. Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Okay, Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. It uses a lot of like pseudoscience to explain what's happening in it, and it shouldn't because I'm not sure it fully understands the concepts. Like it like is like this is the reason, and then they apply them, and then the reasons don't make any sense. Like quantum entanglement is used as an explanation for one of the events. But they explain quantum entanglement as two people just like slamming into each other, and that's not how quantum entanglement works. And that's not how any of the science works. But you can clearly see that they get the idea, at least, of the arcs from like real science, and maybe that's more the way to look at it than as an actual explanation. But this is a Monogatari Haruhi-esque series where they find a girl, she has a problem. Has nothing to do with the manga. It's a kid's show, but it's fucking great. Okay. Oh, you're talking about the Devilman one. And then they have to figure out what her problem is and how to help her with it. And it's reminiscent to a lot of like classic light novel series, like your Haruhis and your Monogataris and your. I've seen a lot of people say My Teenage Romance Snafu, which I've read bits of the manga, but I've never actually like watched the anime. And for sure, it definitely feels like it's like inspired by those classic series, but it also feels like there is an episode where called during the Lapis Demon arc where the opening of the show is a blatant reference to the Endless Eight from Haruhi. And I had fucking, oh my god, I got PTSD just from that fucking opening. Like, it's the exact setup, and I'm just like, oh god, no. But luckily, the Lapis Demon does not last nearly as long as Endless Eight, which is just the devil. That's what it is. It's the devil. But anyway, yeah. But like, as I've said before, like, it never feels like Bunny Girl Senpai surpasses the shows it's based on, and perhaps it could, but it never really feels like it does its own thing in that regard. It just feels like it's like, check out this like old school light novel vibe, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool that you're like doing that, but like, I don't know, it never really like feels like it hits its own stride. So, but they are making more of it, and I will definitely check out this movie because I bet it'd be pretty good. So it's definitely worth a watch. But it's like looking at a reflection of the moon on the water. You know, it's beautiful, but it's just not look the same as looking at the moon, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Got a little poetic, got a little Makoto Naegi in me there. Yeah, I heard about that, about the Devilman anime. I just drank 3 different drinks for no reason other than I could. Alright. Last honorable mention right here. And then we can get into the actual top 10. Okay, Zombieland Saga. Zombieland Saga is about a bunch of fucking dead girls that get, like, killed, and then their producer brings them back because he's a fucking necromancer to bring more attention to a district of, like, Tokyo called Saga as an idol group. And it is surprisingly entertaining, and all of the girls get their own arc. Well, not all of the girls. Most of the girls get their own arc. Hers being like the best one, but they're all pretty interesting, including like one of the idol girls that died by getting shot by fucking lightning. But then there's like her, they don't get an arc, and you never really find out anything. And there's like a brilliant bit of storytelling with the producer himself, where you see his motivation for why he's doing this in only like one scene. Like, it's just like a 5-second flashback, and it totally explains him. And it's just a great bit of like storytelling, honestly, that they managed to explain his motivation so quickly and so satisfyingly. But the biggest, like, here's the main reason, like, Zombieland Saga had a really good chance of making the top 10 list, but it really fucked up with like the last 2 episodes when the main character like gets her memories back and then loses her memories of being a zombie, because it kind of just like throws her whole fucking character into the toilet for like this like amnesia plot, and then they have to like bring her back, and it's just like kind of like ham-fisted in a way of like how they're just like throwing a character arc into her, when all of the others had the chance to like go back to like the people they met when they were like still alive, kind of, and like reconcile with that and like come into their own as like undead idols. Like, she's just like, this fucking sucks and I have amnesia. So, you know, I don't know. That's probably the main reason it didn't make it, is like the last 2 episodes kind of shit the bed. But if they were to make more Zombieland Saga, I'd watch more Zombieland Saga. So it's a pretty good show overall, to be honest, but just not like, I don't know, not top 10 worthy? I don't know. Alright, we ready for this shit? Here we go. Top 10 anime. My top 10 anime of 2018. These are the ones that I liked. even though I liked some of them. These are the ones I liked. All right, number 10. Oops. Number 10, Garou Vanishing Line. Technically, Garou Vanishing Line aired in fall 2017, but it ended in March of 2018, which makes it have qualified for the original list, which allowed fall series, which is why we talked like about Ancient Magus Bride and shit. So, Garou Vanishing Line is about, like, her brother disappears, and she's trying to find him. And then I think his sister disappears or some shit, and he's trying to find her, and he's like a monster slayer for these monsters called Garou, which they explain, but their explanation doesn't make sense, so they're just monsters. And then these two are like on and off again dating, and she's an orphan. And so it turns into a series where the three of them go on this like journey to find her older brother, and the only clue they have is this like term like El Dorado, and like the first couple episodes are used to set up the plot of the story, and then it goes into like this road trip of traveling to El Dorado, and then they get to El Dorado, and I don't really want to spoil it too much because I actually think this is a legitimately good show and that you should probably watch it if you have any interest in like character development and like action stories. But like the best part about El Dorado, besides some like Garou Vanishing Line, besides like some cool action scenes, is that like as you go through the story, you get to see like the characters like come together as like a familial unit, you know. And at the end, it's like there's like this like sad ending, but like it's like kind of like implied they like adopt Sophie at the end, and it's cute and it's heartwarming. It's just all around a good fucking show. Definitely recommend it. Although I would see some people that would argue, yeah, but Garou Vanishing Line is a 2017 anime, so it doesn't count. So 2018 sucked is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is 2018 sucks. All right, what was next on the list? 9. All right, that's fair. Okay, Hanabado. I have no fucking idea what they were thinking with Hanabado. The important thing about Hanabado is it's called the badminton play of Ayano Hanasaki, and this is Hayao Hanasaki. And the basic thing is, like, her mom is a world-famous badminton player who abandoned her when she lost a fucking badminton game. And this is, like, her, like, upperclassman. And the story starts with her having lost a badminton game to her, and then like driving the team into the ground because she's trying to train to beat her, and then she joins the same school because she was a middle schooler at the time as her. And basically, here's how this works, you know? In the way you're supposed to interpret the story, I think, is that Ayano is like the main character, and we're supposed to see her like fall into like despair as she finds out that her mother is the biggest piece of trash ever, and she makes it her goal to just metaphorically spit in her mom's face by becoming like a good badminton player and then like telling her mom to go fuck herself. But the problem is she is completely unlikable in every single fucking way. But that actually works for like the series benefit if you interpret it the other direction, where you like assume that she's the main character, and you see her start off in a dark place, and as she goes through, like her friends like talk some sense into her, and she becomes like a better person and helps the characters around her grow. And as it's going and she falls into darkness, you see the like they start kind of like building her up as an antagonist, and she wins like every fucking badminton game. And so whereas she has like this knee injury that keeps getting worse, and so it comes into this like conflict with like this underdog like hero against this like unstoppable villain of a like horrible asshole badminton. And like the whole show has like this amazing animation, which is probably what most people know for Hanabado. And so the like culmination between these two badminton games is fucking amazing. And I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to spoil it. Seeing Ayano fucking lose at the end is great. Now, granted, she's still supposed to be the main character, and you have to willfully misinterpret Hanabado to get This is about badminton, yes. You have to willfully misinterpret it to get as much out of the show as I did. Otherwise, I totally understand why it has such negative reviews. But, yeah, 7.1 makes sense. But, like, it's great if you ignore the fact that Ayano is supposed to be the main character. Like, she's a fucking piece of shit, and you should hate her, and you should be rooting for Nagase, because Nagase is fucking awesome, and they fucking have that badminton match, and you're like, yeah, and then Nagase beats her. It's great. It's pretty good. Pretty good as long as you completely ignore everything the author intends about it, and make your own story up about an underdog fighting an invincible monster. Please keep in mind my top 10 list is based purely on enjoyment. Because Hanebado is terrible. It is really bad. It did what I consider failing upward. Alright. So, probably could have guessed this one if you've been paying super amounts of attention, but Overlord Season 2 is actually going to be my number 7 here. Overlord Season 2 is actually way better than Season 3. I'm just putting it out there. Granted, most of Season 2 is build-up as well, but at the very least, Season 2 has more of a focus on the side characters, and Ainz takes sort of a back seat, so we don't have to watch, like, the show jerk off how fucking strong he is. Like, Ainz is a cool enough character, but he's also fucking boring. And it does, and this season focuses on other characters, such as, like, Sebes, which is pretty cool. Like, Sebes gets, like, this romance with this, like, prostitute he saves from being, like, beat by her pimp, and he, like, takes her in as, like, a servant, and, like, is like, okay, you're a maid now, and she's like, thanks, and then he, like, cures her, like, gonorrhea. It's less stupid when you watch it. I know that sounded really dumb, but it's pretty entertaining to watch him, like, and, like, keep in mind he's like a monster man, so he's, like, developing, like, feelings, and then, like, he, like, fights, like, a group of, like drug dealers with his fucking fists. It's cool. It's cool to see characters that aren't fucking Ainz do cool shit. And then we get introduced to Evil Eye, who is actually so popular that the author failed to kill her. So that's cool. And yeah, and the whole opening is actually about a bunch of fucking lizard folk who are under attack by Ainz. So the whole thing about Ainz is he's like this evil villain that's trying to take over the world, and we always see from his perspective. So it's cool to see a group of, like, severely underpowered lizard men just try and scrape together enough resources to beat him, and then they don't. Pretty good. Pretty good season, actually. Way better than Season 3. Wish Dub gave Skeletor a voice. You mean for Ainz? Does he not? Chris Guerrero. He did... Oh, he did Gecko Moria. And Peccoms. And he did Gecko Moria and Peccoms. So, oh yeah, and there's a scene where Ainz scries on the lizard people to see what they're doing, and he just ends up accidentally stumbling on two lizards having sex. It's fucking hilarious. All while Shaltir is really into it because he's sitting on her, and she's just like fucking splooshing all over the ground. It's great. So Season 2, pretty good. Worth a watch. Better than Season 3. What am I next? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, this is another predictable one because I mentioned I was going to talk about it anyway. Alright, next up at number 7, Violet Evergarden. You would have wished he had like a voice like Skeletor from He-Man. Okay, that would be actually funny. Alright, Violet Evergarden is about an ex-soldier who ended up losing both arms in war because she was a war orphan slave that got drafted into the military. And then because she got kicked out of the military after, losing both arms, she ends up writing letters for people to discover emotions, most specifically the meaning of love. It is a very heartfelt and touching story that delves into emotions just in general. Like, it's one of those shows that tries to make you cry, and honestly, a lesser man would have in one of those episodes, because, woo, girl. Girl? Fine. Woo, girl. One of those episodes where the little girl receives letters for, like, the next 20 years from her dead mother is so fucking touching. It's unbelievable. Holy shit. And plus, you know, KyoAni did it. And so it's fucking gorgeous. And yeah, and the story, although it focuses on, like, Violet as she, like, learns about, like, herself and emotions, it also focuses on the people whose letters she's writing, and you get to find their stories, and each one is, like, this own little, like, self-contained, like, emotional drama. So it's just a nice little story, and she has, like, this cool little character arc at the end where she's just like, hey, go fuck yourself. And I'm just like, oh god, Violet. Like, if they're making a sequel, I'm gonna watch that fucking sequel, is what I'm saying. Violet Evergarden. I was skeptical. I didn't think it would be that good, because, like, it just, like, usually when everyone freaks out about a fucking anime before it even airs, that anime is just fucking trash. But no, Violet Evergarden actually held up, and I was really glad about that. So, watch Violet Evergarden if you like dramas and crying. Alright, what's up after Violet Evergarden? Okay, Comic Girls is about a girl whose name I don't remember because they don't ever stop calling her Chaos. Moeda Kuroko. Okay, well, I'm calling her Chaos. Anyway. Because that's what they call her in the show. They call her Chaos. They refuse to not call her Chaos. Anything by Makoto Shinkai, his films are overrated and terrible. I like Makoto Shinkai, but, you know, I don't think he's, like, the best ever. You know what? While I'm making fucking enemies, Ghibli films suck. Like, almost all of them. Almost, not all of them, but almost all of them are just fucking horrible, and I've seen them all, so I can say that. Anyway, so Chaos is an inspiring shoujo mangaka who moves into a dorm with other mangakas to become a better mangaka. Over the course of the series, we get to see her develop as a character and try and learn how to be a better, like, just all around, I want to stop saying mangaka, like, artist and writer, and she gets, like, draft after draft after draft, like, refused by her publishers, while everyone around her, like, succeeds and, like, cheers her on. And she has the most, like, heartbreakingly low self-esteem I've ever seen in any characters. And, like, the moment it fucking breaks is, like, when it's like, what would you like to do with your future? And her answer is, I want to write, I want to, like, create shoujo manga, and if I can't do that, I want to curl up in a ball in some corner of the world and try and take up as much space and air as possible. And I'm like, oh, that's so fucking sad. And, like, watching this, like, girl, like, go through her journey with the people around her and, like, try and become successful at her dreams is really touching and heartfelt. And yeah, Comic Girls is just fucking good. And not a lot of people talk about Comic Girls, just in general. Like, you watch a lot of, like, top 10 lists from 2018, and a lot of people put Comic Girls on their top 10 list, myself included, obviously, but they didn't talk about it when it was coming out. My brother, despite liking Ghibli movies, he can't get through one without fast forwarding through it. Understandable. They do tend to drag. Yeah, so that's Comic Girls. Good fucking show. Good fucking show. What else we got here? Okay, Girl in Twilight. Girl in Twilight is severely underrated. And I'm going to say that right now. It's just severely underrated. Girl in Twilight sets out with a group of girls in the Crystal Radio Club. and they're all basically character archetypes. Like, like you've got like the like loner girl and the girl that likes cute things like the Ojo-sama and like the tsundere and like the Genki girl, you know? And it sets them up as like these like character archetype cliches, but like likable versions of the cliches, not like over top versions of the cliches. And it takes them and they end up in a different timeline. Where the world is being destroyed by this force called the Twilight. And they meet an alternate version of the main character right here, who's like, yo, I've been going to different timelines, stopping these, like, insects that, like, destroy timelines. And it turns into a, like, adventure across parallel timelines where the world's, like, vastly different. Like, there's one where everyone lives on islands and one with, like, a cowboy world. It's fucking cool. And one where you have to get married when you turn 18. And each episode focuses on one of these girls, you know, the likable character cliche archetypes. And when it does that, it like I don't want to say deconstructs them, because it's like there's an implication to that, you know. But like it breaks apart the components of what makes them who they are, and it like explains like how they came to be in that state and why they act like they do and why they're these archetypes. And then it like puts them together and like advances them as characters into something more than what they started with. So it like deconstructs the character archetypes that they all are and then progresses them as characters. And it's like, and it even does this with the main character and like her overly energetic personality, where it's revealed that like it's just like a straight up facade and she's the most miserable of all of them, and she's just struggling to keep it together because she feels like she killed her brother. This fucking show is so underrated. I can't believe it's this underrated. It's just genuinely good. I wish we could have gotten a little more expansion on the ending. I hope there's a sequel. Because, yeah, fucking Girl in Twilight was great. Fucking Girl in... Oh, and they do a fake out where they keep, like, setting it up like the final villain, like the, like, Twilight Herald or whatever it's called, is, like, her brother, and then it's not her brother. And it's just fucking with you the whole time. And it's just a good fucking anime. Which is fucking Girl in Twilight. Number 5. Alright. That's number 5. Number 4. Hinamatsuri. Hinamatsuri is about... I'm not sure if they're from another universe or another timeline, but basically there are psychic girls that come from another universe/timeline and land in just like Tokyo. And like the main girl, Hina, gets adopted by like a Yakuza named Nita, who's like a mid-level like Yakuza boss, and he ends up like adopting her, and the other girls end up getting adopted too by various people. And it uses running jokes to like help establish characters, but it also like keeps everything in canon and like doesn't just like drop the jokes. And like at one point, for example, like a girl gets like picked up to like by a bar and made to bartend because of like a case of mistaken identity, and then in subsequent episodes she's just a fucking bartender. And so they like keep the joke rolling, which keeps the like show fun, but also like helps develop the characters and plot as they go. And you get to see the characters come together and kind of like almost drift apart in one cases. It's just like overall it uses the jokes as more than just jokes, but uses it as something that's like actually part of its own universe, and uses that to like flesh out its story. Also, it's fucking hilarious, so that helps. All right, I think we're on to number 3. Number 3 is going to be a controversial pick. Oh shit. Alright, number 3. Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online. That's right. SAO number 3. I'm saying it. First off, this season was not written by Reki Kawahara. So it's not even the same writer. It's by Sugasa Keiichi. So if that makes you feel any better, I don't know. But basically, there's like a self-conscious college girl that ends up playing Gun Gale online so that she can be like a short little loli girl just because she likes being short and she feels she's too tall and she's really self-conscious about it. And there's other characters that do similar things, but none of this really matters to the integral plot, which is that she is a PvPer who just massacres the shit out of other players with her buddy here. And people fucking hate her for it. And then her buddy was like a beta tester for SAO, but ended up not actually making it into the like final game because she had something to do or some shit. And so she's become obsessed with like games where she dies. So she tries to like kill herself if she doesn't win an upcoming tournament. And so it's about the like main character trying to convince her friend not to kill herself. And it's honestly, the plot itself doesn't make any sense when you actually think about it, but that's okay. It doesn't matter because it is fucking hype with the battles. Like, it's got like a lot of exciting action scenes, including the last action scene, which was so fucking cool that I have to spoil it here. But it took like an episode and a half to watch, and I had to rewatch it. It was that cool, and I never rewatch anything. Like, I don't know what my rewatches are at. Like 70, I think, 80. I don't rewatch shit, is what I'm saying. Literally 100. Yeah, I've only rewatched like 100 anime ever, but I had to rewatch this fucking thing because that fight was awesome, and the fucking ending to this, like, I have to say it because it's so fucking cool, is that what is her name? Len, like, has her friend, because she's like caught in like Pito's grasp, has her friend cut off her hands and like kick her into the enemy, and then Len rips the enemy's throat out with her teeth at like the end of the fucking fight. It is so fucking cool. And then like Pito is like, man, I thought I was crazy, but damn. And then Len is like, what? Someone's crazier than you? That person must be terrifying. And Pito's like, are you serious? You had someone cut your fucking hands off. You're a fucking lunatic. It's great. It's just a fun time. It's just a fun action show. Fucking Gun Gale Online. Honestly, the best fucking part of SAO, and it's not even part of the main series. They should just stay in GGO. The best parts of Sword Art Online are always in GGO. Every single time. Just never leave Gun Gale. Just make the whole thing about Gun Gale, is what I'm saying to you. Alright, number 2. Finally, almost done. Number 2 is pretty predictable. It's going to be Aggressive Retsuko, the Netflix OVA. This is about a little red panda girl who is made by like Sanrio Productions, like from like that does Hello Kitty of all things. I can't fucking believe it. I thought this was going to be number 1 for the longest time. And she gets really stressed out at work, and she like chills out by just like singing metal karaoke. And what's really cool is you get to see her interact with her coworkers, who, most notable, and they're what like really makes the show for me, I think, is like Washimi and Gorobocho, which are like the like secretaries, like the older women who like act as like Retsuko's like role model, and like role models who like give her advice and shit. And we get to see her like she's trying to get out of like this job that she fucking hates, and she gets like this advice, and like I don't want to say we like see her develop as a character, but we do, but it's kind of subtle. Like she's not like a completely different character by the end. She's just like more mature and has her shit a bit better together, and she like comes into she becomes more comfortable with herself and her surroundings, but not so comfortable enough that she doesn't become addicted to Twitter in We Wish You a Metal Christmas, but that's fine, nobody cares. And like we see her like failed relationships with guys. It's like an adult like comedy kind of like drama series like that, like a sitcom almost, but like as a as like an anime about a red panda with like really cute character designs. So yeah, fucking Aggressive Retsuko. Great watch. All right, now for the only 9 that I have for 2018, which is my number 1, Chio's Road to School, which literally no one talks about. Chio's Road to School does a lot of what Hinamatsuri does, where it develops characters through running jokes. And in fact, I think Hinamatsuri does it better. But the main reason why I put Chio's Road to School as number 1 over that is because Chio's Road to School is fucking hilarious. Like, so's Hinamatsuri, but I just find Chio's Road to School even funnier. I don't know if it's because it's relatable, but a lot of it has to do with like exaggerative expressions. And because I think Chio's Road to School focuses more heavily on comedy than Hinamatsuri does, is why I would have to say of it. So I think it has a better result in comedy, whereas Hinamatsuri has a better result with like character development and shit. But it doesn't really matter. They're both great shows. I just feel like Chio's Road to School is my favorite anime of 2018. And fucking Chio herself is like Moko from Watamote. Let me see. Watamote. Moko, right? No, Tomoko. I don't know who the fuck Moko is, but I'm probably thinking Momoko. Yeah. Yeah, okay, like Tomoko from like Watamote, if she had her shit a little bit better together and was competent at anything, really. Like, Chio is like accidentally like Tomoko because she like hides her potential and her skills so that she seems less competent than she is. It makes slightly more sense when she explains why she does it, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. So yeah, Chio's Road to School is fucking great and my favorite anime of 2018. And that was fucking long. That entire goddamn thing. How long have I been talking about this? I said we might be able to do Final Fantasy, but I've been doing this for 3 hours and 20 minutes because I talked about literally fucking every anime I watched last year. So, sweet. Okay. So let's talk about anime in 2018, just all together. Like I said, I've seen people say that anime was the best in 2018. Like, it's the best year of anime. And it's not. It's just blatantly not. I've seen people say, like, no matter what your genre is, there was something you could like in 2018. And here's the thing. Like, anime comes out every year. Like, new anime comes out every year. And unless you heavily like only one genre, I think, like, especially the last 10 years, you would be hard-pressed to find an anime, like, a year without at least one anime you like. So I think saying there's at least one anime for everyone isn't a real compliment to a year, because there should always be at least one anime you like, and if you probably can't find at least one anime you like that comes out every single year, you probably don't like anime as a medium anymore, or like either anymore or ever, and you probably were only ever into a specific genre of anime or a specific era that has long since passed. There is no, like, there's like 100 anime that comes out every season. You know, that's like at least 400 anime every year. Like, statistically, it's improbable for you not to find something to like. So I think just because you could like something doesn't make just because the year has something for you to like doesn't make the year automatically the best year in anime. And there wasn't something for every genre, for example, because romance was terrible in 2018. And that's my genre, and I wasn't satisfied with really anything. Like, Real Girl and Boarding School Juliet were okay, but there's nothing that really grabbed me. And I feel like the judgment of whether a year is good is not how diverse the anime selection is. Maybe it is for some people, but for me, it's how many shows were actually memorable. And in 2018, I don't really feel like anything is like, except for maybe Chios, I don't really think there's anything that I could really come back to. And there's so many more years where, like, even last year, there were at least 2 9s, you know, and this year there's like 1 9. And honestly, even I'm not sure if Chio is an actual 9 or just like a high 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be more like the mean, like the average of every show that determines the quality of a year, not like the diversity of it. Or sometimes you can overcome how like a bunch of shit with like a bunch of high quality shows, but 2018 didn't really offer much in high quality shows either, just like retreads of past ideas or like second seasons that honestly weren't even good as previous seasons. So I feel like my final thoughts in 2018 were like, was it the greatest year in anime ever? No, I think it might be one of the worst. There's just, like, I've said this for so many shows at this point, like, there's nothing to grab onto. And in 2018, there is nothing to grab onto. There's nothing to distinguish it or make it memorable. And in, like, 5 years from now, unless one of your favorite shows was from 2018, I have trouble believing that unless this is, like, your heyday of anime right now when you just started, that you'll ever come back to that specific year and be like, man, that really blew me away. 2018, I really like fucking, I couldn't release the spice or some shit. Fucking Darling in the Franxx. That's my jam, you know? Like, there's the saying that like classics are dead, and maybe there are. Maybe classics as anime are dead. But here's the thing is you won't know until years have passed. And I have a hard time believing anything that came out in 2018 will ever be a classic. And maybe that's not fair, but I mean, then there's like 2009, you know, 2000, 2011, 2006, where you can just look through like everything that came out and you're like, no, that was a fucking good ass year in anime. And like 2018, sure, there were some good shows, but like, there was also a lot of fucking garbage that year and nothing that really blew me away. And yeah, that's my feelings of 2018. Is it one of the best? No, it's one of the worst. And now I'm repeating myself. And so I think it's time to end the video. I'm going to be late as fuck in Wadawa, I think, but that's fine. Nobody cares about Wadawa. I don't even care about Wadawa. So anyway, that's it. Hope you had fun. I'm done fucking talking about anime unless anyone else has anything to add. And yeah, I've been Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope. I'll see you tomorrow with Kingdom Hearts. Bye-bye.